should be live. All right, everyone. Welcome to the first Starfinder stream out on Dragon's Demize. So we have been planning on doing this for a little while, and 2 weeks ago we had our character creation session, and so now we have our characters ready. There are going to be the four of us. We're also going to have people rotating in and out. So it's going to be, we're going to have a pretty fun crew in general. So let's go ahead and set the scene for Starfinder. We've got some, the Starfinder universe, for those of you who don't know, is set in the distant future of a magical as well as technological society. So pretty much they took Pathfinder, the fantasy role-playing system, and aged it up a few thousand years.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much true.
And so right now we are on the planet Apostae. And Apostae is the planet, is almost like a smuggler's den kind of hub where like a lot of illicit activities happen. Think a cyberpunk futuristic city, something similar to what you would find in Blade Runner or something along those lines. And we join our three of our heroes right now. We have our friend, let's start with our friend Will over here. His character is a Lashunta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Lashuntas are humanoids, and you know there are two different types, and we have both of them. So, Will, if you would describe just how your character looks.
Right. Yeah. So my name is Amos Lanson, and so I got a character in general. He's got very like a duster coat. He's very much a typical, if you think of like a smuggler kind of character. He very much fits the description. A duster coat underneath, fairly standard, comfortable, and full of spare compartments clothing, ready for pretty much anything. He doesn't have a hat. You can see his little antenna poking out. He's got a fairly like human kind of skin color, little shades of blue, but for the most part human looking, and he is very much distressed at the current situation going on right now.
Yep. And he is bolting along with our other Lashunta friend at his side.
Yes, so I am the other Lashunta character, Halalos. I am the other subspecies of Lashunta. So I am a subspecies called Karasha, which is shorter, stockier, and also less diplomatic. I tend to be outspoken, whereas the Demize subspecies tends to be much more refined. So I'm short, muscular. I have pale bluish gray skin with a pair of antennae, like William's character, and white hair. The other thing that is probably the most prominent thing about my character is that I have a small mote of energy. It looks like it could be fire, but it also looks kind of like it could just be pure light that orbits my head. And that's Halalos.
There we go. And the two of them are being preceded and seemingly guided somewhat by our android friend over here.
I'm an android. For short, my name is Indigo Stars. We might get more into that later. I am dressed in, this is, imagine sort of, I would say there's definitely like a cloak and like blue clothing. I haven't determined the extent of that. Probably assume it's not necessarily safari-esque, but more like British explorer-esque clothing.
Do you have the helmet, the pith helmet?
I do not have the pith
Ah.
Anyway, that and a cloak covering it, and I'm leading them to safety. We are being pursued, and
By a bear.
by bears, by mobsters, by human traffickers, and we're escaping.
Yes.
Other Greg.
Well, he
or
has not
you seen
joined.
that?
We,
Oh, not yet.
we will get to him in a moment.
Okay.
Because you are currently on the
One
city
second,
streets of the of one of the cities on Apostae, and you guys are bolting. You're right down the street, pretty much from the spaceport at the moment. You have some thugs running after you, pretty much. Like, you know, you sort of lost them in over the last turn, but are just bolting towards your space.
Mm-hmm. Do we have like a little measure?
Oh,
Just for like
for the
I'll
space
grab
ship?
one, yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Grab one.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go. As you bolt, you're running towards you two don't know the starship. Pretty much, the last 2 or 3 hours have been a whirlwind of activity.
Yeah, I should say so.
So, you landed with Connor Mansford on the city, the planet of Apostae, and you were here for about a day or so, just getting around, getting to know the area, that kind of thing. And you were supposed to be meeting a group, or at least you were, in order to actually make a few transactions. You were pretty much along here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm just along for the ride. I'm on a pilgrimage to the Burning Archipelago, which is the cities in the center of the sun. And I was told that that's where we were going, and that we may be taking a detour.
Yep.
So, I'm a pretty easygoing person. I figure we'll get there eventually. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
You were told by Mr. Connor Mansford, as well as our friend here, that you were going to be taken to the cities within the sun. Turns out, instead, Connor had a few other plans. He brought you all to a meeting point, and you're mostly like, it looked like a normal kind of bar-esque type place, and you guys had a little bit of a private booth area. And then a few people showed up that had different laser pistols and other things like that. There we go. And as you
Okay. Figure that. That's fine.
There we go. As you begin to get into some negotiations, it turns out that Connor is not really trying to get you guys any kind of goods or any kind of passage to the cities in the sun. He's instead seemingly about to sell you off, all three of you. Our good friend Indigo Star seems to be in the same establishment, and he overhears all this going on, especially once a little bit more of a ruckus goes on, because you guys are not going down without at least trying to fight back. And manages to interrupt them and distract them enough to allow you to escape the booth and start running down the street. And as you do, you're able to get a bit of distance between you and the you and your pursuers. And now you're running towards the actual starship. All right. Are you guys going to? So your starship is currently docked at a normal space dock. In general, the normal protocol is to to at least inform the dockmaster that you're about to leave.
Yeah, there's no way.
That is what I figured. So, you all just blast through the fence that is around this area, and just like run through the gates. Like the guard that's stationed over there, he's like, wait a minute, what's going on? And you pretty much show him your parking ticket, like, yeah, it's my ship here, I gotta go.
No worries, we're all fine. Everything's fine here.
I shout, sorry.
Don't take off without the dockmaster's permission. As you are approaching the ship. As your ship, was due for an inspection, and you had at the time, said that the customs could go through it because normal. That's usually how inspections work. Later on, you'll land before you can take anything off. They'll go through the ship and that kind of thing. And since you were on the planet, it wasn't really something that you were needing to have happen immediately. So you run into the ship, and immediately, first thing you do, you just as soon as the third person comes in, you slam the button to close the hatch. You, on the other hand, my friend, are the one doing the inspecting.
I am.
You hear some commotion, but it's pretty normal for captains to come back to their ships while the inspection's going on.
It's within protocols.
It's within protocols, pretty much. What is not within protocols is what happens next. So, Harrison, your ship, you are currently on your ship. You have closed the hatch. All three of you are on there. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to run to the control piloting engine room.
All right. You run to the engine, the control room, and immediately just start pressing the buttons and getting the ship up and running and ready to go. The engines are starting to go, and this is when you notice that something's a little bit off. Like normally they don't test the engines.
I'm riding on my dad pad, and all of a sudden I just perk my ears up, so to say. Wait, what?
Let's go. How quick can it go? Let's go.
And
Rush him. I'm sure he's got it under control.
I'm taking a look at the viewport or whatever.
You've got it under control, right?
I got it under control.
Okay. So your ship is revving up. Now go ahead and you're seated in the captain's chair pretty much, and you're just you're getting everything going. Are you asking them to do anything, or are you just taking control and going?
You could man guns or something.
Taking the initiative of I want to get out of here. Regardless of his permission, I'm looking for whatever I can do to help start up.
All right.
I know my way around ships a little bit.
Yep, you know your way around the ship.
I do not know my way around ships. I will not be doing anything unless explicitly instructed.
Cool. All right. What is your engineering?
My engineering is 6.
Alrighty. So you go ahead and you, knowing that pretty much how ships work, you go down into the engineering bay for the moment. You are starting up your ship and getting ready to go.
Yes.
Go ahead and or first things first. You get hailed on the comms.
Hello, yes.
Hello, Captain. Is this Captain Indigo Scarlet?
Stars.
Yes. Stars? Indigo Stars, sorry.
This is Captain Indigo Stars. Hello, yes.
Alright, Captain Stars, I noticed that your engines are on.
Is there before I answer, this is the outlaw planet. Is there legal parity between different planets?
Does this planet have an extradition treaty with some of the other planets?
It's important to know.
No, it is important. So this is one of the packed worlds. So there are, it is part of the same, almost UN kind of planets.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, there is a little bit of reciprocity, but at the same time, this is an outlaw planet. It's not or not fully outlaw, but this is the scum of the Earth kind of planet. This probably happens a decent amount.
So if I like flee, they're not going to be like, "Hey, Castroville, like we have like."
For the most part, probably not.
Okay.
At least, or actually, how about this? Give me a knowledge culture check, or a culture check. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Just roll the campaign.
All right.
Fuck. Ooh, wait. That's a knowledge.
It is a culture check, so it should be up by C.
I have
rolled a 4.
-1 modifier on charisma.
Okay.
It's not like
It's intelligence.
intelligence.
Yeah, culture's intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh, it's intelligence. Oh,
yes.
never mind.
It's on there.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, it's
Under
never
computers.
culture. And
So I technically that's a 10, but it doesn't give me anything because I rolled a 4. It's very sad.
so wait, culture.
plus-
You have plus. Oh, holy shit! You have.
oh
Plus
wait, sorry.
No, +4.
+4. Shit, no, it's only 8. Oh my god.
Because
As far as I know, anything could be real.
You have a what in intelligence? What's your score?
18.
18. Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah,
No, that is a plus. That's +4, right?
It's a +4, yeah. But culture's also a trained only skill.
but I have nothing
Is
in
it
it.
only train?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a knowledge skill, so.
Yeah.
None of this.
Okay.
Which means basically it's just a raw intelligence check.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Fuck.
Which
Alright.
is 8.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
Yeah. So.
My
you-
character is based on it.
but you pretty much don't really know this.
I have no fucking clue.
The culture of this area too well, but at the same time, you don't think that this is going to be a very big issue if you just blast off. I mean, it's not going to be great, especially if you return to this port. But at the same time, this isn't.
I do not answer.
You're not running out of like a different.
I do not answer. This is Indigo Stars.
Okay.
I say, I'm stealing this ship. Fuck you. Right into the comms. And we're blasting off.
All right.
I asked, like, wait a minute, I thought this was your ship. Are you stealing this ship?
I'm like, it's my ship.
What's going on up there?
Alright. I'll just stay out of the way.
Well, cease and desist. Cease and desist. You just hear this coming through the comm. The security forces will be on their way. Cease and desist. As you are now ready to blast off, go ahead and give me a piloting check.
Let's go. Hopefully much better. 17.
Okay.
Alright.
Plus my piloting score is pretty high. 6.
All right, so 23 for piloting. All right, you are able to just you know this shit like the back of your hand. You are just like pretty much like going through the cockpit, doing some switches, that thrusters in different directions. You hear like the engine rev up, and all of a sudden, all of you feel the pretty much a really big jolt. I think that go ahead and everyone who is not you probably know that you are ready for this, but the two of you go ahead and give me a reflex saving throw to see if you stay on your feet.
Nope.
So that's a D20.
18 actually.
Alright. Yep.
Then you add
11. 3.
So
14.
14. All right, you both are able to catch yourselves as the ship just starts flying out of this area, and you are soon. You hear some kind of blasters coming at you from behind as a turret begins to target you guys. Because well, you announced that you were stealing a ship. That does make it want to take you down.
It's very sad.
But luckily, or actually, go ahead and give me another piloting check, please.
It's like get shot down, game ends. We're all dead.
Yep. Alright, reroll everybody.
18 plus 6.
All right, 24. You are able to evade the pretty easily. Like, some of them hit your back shields, but there really isn't much of an impact here. You're just going past the defenses, and before you know it, you are out in outer space. The artificial gravity of the ship kicks in, and just as like some of you are about to feel like a little bit weightless, it pulls you back onto the ship.
I'll never get used to that.
And here, as you go,
While I'm in the engineering department, can I just see like how much fuel the ship has? Just get a sense of like
Sure.
the general state of the ship.
In general, the ship. 1 second. In general, the ship seems to be pretty fueled up. Everything, you know, you've been in the port for about a day or two, something like that. And within that, like you had, you took the option to pretty much have everything like fueled up, your ship readied for departure, pretty much. It's it was pretty set. So you're on full fuel. You're on no problems, no repairs, no nothing like that. So yeah, you guys are currently out in outer space. I will ask for one more piloting check to leave the area, and actually at this point, you guys are still around Apostae, and a stolen ship isn't extremely high priority, but if there are security forces in the area, they will likely come after you. So,
Like from other planets?
no, from Apostae.
Yeah, okay.
So, are you going to stay in the area, or are you going to try to
to
calculate a jump?
Jump.
All right. So, into which direction are you planning on jumping?
Sorry.
You were just doing your job.
So yeah.
We're gonna jump like towards the asteroid planets.
All right. The diaspora.
The diaspora, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to? Is that still piloting?
So give me a piloting check, just first off, and then.
I like split the ship in half.
That's natural one. Split the ship in half.
That's
right.
plus my 6 in piloting.
Yep.
I have
It's also a nat one.
7.
Super good.
Do
Best possible
we
outcome.
go like opposite?
Well, what happens is that as you're getting ready to jump, your calculations, everything is going.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the space drones that is in the area, one of the security drones, pretty much at the last moment bumps your ship, meaning that its direction has changed.
Okay.
So instead of pointing straight into to the area that you wanted to go, you are now slightly off course, which over the millions of miles, pretty much, is going to make a bit of a difference.
Like,
So yeah, you were pretty much like that. You were just slightly off course.
but like by off course, do you mean like which?
So you don't know.
Do I get? Well, okay.
You will figure out upon and because it was a small enough change in the course, your computer didn't pretty much adjust for it at the time because it was so last minute.
Okay.
Because if it had been a larger change in course, it would have triggered an automatic shutdown of the jump sequence. But in this case, you were not.
Okay.
And so you are currently unaware of the fact that you are going in a different direction.
That's fine.
But you are currently in in jump space for a few hours at the moment. So
You probably ask us what's going on.
well, currently you don't even know that he's on board at the moment.
Do you like figure something's up and like
So you have also felt this, like the ship stops for a moment, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then
I'm like,
boom, and it just goes into
like
Warp speed.
just slap my head. All right.
So you come out of one. You're in one of the cargo bays currently.
Yeah. in the cargo bay, climb up the ladder to the where are you, engine room or
He's captain. He's
He's
captain.
in the
there.
engine room.
give a bridge.
Okay.
So currently, what happens is you climb up and you begin making your way towards the bridge. I believe that you are either in the bridge or around.
I'm near the bridge with
Okay.
1,000 stars.
All right.
Indigo stars.
Indigo stars.
All of these were
With the jump process, I'm
stars
heading towards
together.
it.
Yes, you are heading towards the bridge, but you were making sure that everything was online with the engines, and then we'll be heading towards the bridge. So,
Don't have your both characters.
another person. So someone enters the cockpit as you just hear someone coming in. You're still facing forward and all that. What do you guys do?
I am
Like,
skittish.
yo,
I turn around and I draw my laser pistol.
Well, you also know that there's at least one other person on the ship.
Yeah.
So okay,
I
just letting you know.
still draw my laser pistol.
Okay.
And if it's him, then I'll be like, okay, we're
All
cool.
right. So as you enter the bridge,
you like
you
Stranger
see
Danger?
someone in the captain's seat, and then you enter the bridge, and a Lashanta is like skittishly turns around and has a
Who are
laser
you?
pistol.
I don't know you.
pointed
What are
at
you doing here?
I'm
speaking in common because you don't look Lashunta. So
okay. I identify myself as Agent Geno Silvestrian of the the Pact Confederation?
The
Pact Worlds, I think they're called.
Pact Worlds, as one of the stewards. And
Lawman. Oh, okay. That puts me instantly.
I point to my badge on my.
It's like,
I am instantly reassured. Like I trust you absolutely.
There we go.
Okay.
And so you hear this going on. You probably
Right.
turn around to like look and see that there's this other person. Why don't you go ahead and describe yourself? Like, what do you look?
Sure. So I am in uniform as a customs agent. It's a flight suit. It's got a very utility belt kind of vibe. I've got a pistol and a baton, a couple pairs of handcuffs on me.
Nice.
Small backpack as well.
Okay.
And I am very freaked out.
Seems understandable.
I have my hand on my thumb is tapping my badge and my palm is tapping my gun. And I immediately start asking you, what the hell is going on? What are you doing? Who are you? Why are you on this ship?
Hello, it is my ship. I don't know if we've met.
I demand to see your registration papers immediately.
I mean, I could like show him them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you my registration papers.
or he shows you registration papers.
It's like I am helping these two escape from slavery. I can drop you off on a separate world and give you money to return. I apologize for this distance. Or if you want to see a change in career, always looking for more, archaeology assistance. Want something else in your life?
I politely decline your offer as a xenoarchaeologist.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you have his papers. You can, if you want to make sure that they're legitimate, you can go ahead and do that.
I do. I run them through my dad pad.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll for your skill. They are completely legitimate.
18.
18.
And then which one did I use for that? Do you use
You use your
years?
profession.
Profession.
Yes.
So that's 6.
All right. Cool. So that means that 24. You look at his papers, and they all seem perfectly fine. They all seem right. Like even if you check the ID against him and all that kind of stuff. It seems pretty legit.
Everything's on the up and up.
The one thing that you do notice is that seems law enforcement was pretty quick on this one. The ship does seem to be reported as stolen.
But I do know
Is it galaxy wide?
Well, it's the system itself. Because he was a customs agent in the area. Your system reports that it was this ship, or the ship was stolen from Indigo Stars.
Mm-hmm.
As of about an hour ago.
I do note that the proper registration and the name match up despite the fact that it's stolen. And then I immediately turn to the second member on the bridge to see his identification papers.
It's clearly his fault.
Do I have identify? I assume I would have had a passport or something like that when we left Castrovel. Sure, I produce that and I hand it to you and say, I'm Halalos. I'm kind of just along for the ride. I'm trying to get to the Burning Archipelago. They
I kind of mumble,
they told me that's where we were going, but then we ended up being sold into slavery. So
I might immediately pick up at that and make a note in my dad pad that of possible human trafficking
incident.
incident.
Also, you know that that's the sun, the solar archipelago from what was your guys' home planet again?
Castrovel?
Castrovel. That from Castrovel going to the sun is the completely other
Yes.
direction than.
You know
than
what?
the-
It is hard to orient yourself
No, I'm
in
not saying
space
that. I'm not saying
if you've
that.
never been to space.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying that you know that as internal. And at this point,
Nobody
a
should.
third, or you are walking up to the bridge, and
Yeah,
you see
I walk
the
up to the
back
bridge.
of the head of
I
someone.
see a steward uniform, and I like freeze. I'm like,
This is gonna go really.
and I
well.
start massaging my neck, which activates
Yeah,
my voice
He's
modulator.
behind you still, so
Okay.
you don't see him just yet.
I activate my voice modulator and pull up my fake ID on my data pad.
He has like 6 of them hidden inside his...
Which
You
one?
came prepared.
Hello, officer. How
I
are you?
immediately spin around, hand on.
Yes. Hello, officer.
I immediately check his identification papers.
Yes, of course. Whatever we can do to smooth out this confusion.
What do I think your name is?
What is your name?
What's your name?
Lucan Dumbass.
Lucan dumbass.
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 I
Dumbass.
refer to you as Mr. Dumbass. Lucan Dumbass.
Lucan Dumbass.
I make a note of that in my dad pad, and I begin analyzing the documents.
All right, you have two sets of documents currently with you, 1 and 2. Which one do you look at first?
I look at the new person
All
you
right,
just rolled out.
go ahead and give me a customs check, pretty much.
Okay. 10. Plus
Unfortunately, in this galaxy, we have no central registration system
6.
for IDs.
All right, so that's a 16.
Do I make any kind of a bluff or?
I roll certain things behind my screen, and yeah, they seem legit. They seem completely legit.
I make a note. I also
Lucas Domens.
I also mark that he. I also mark down possible human trafficking violation somehow involved. Still unsure of the details.
All right, cool. And then you have one other set of papers currently.
I begin analyzing the set for what's your name?
Halalos.
Halalos.
All right,
Halalos the Pilgrim.
go ahead.
12, 18.
All right, they seem completely legitimate.
I
We're all
hand,
legitimate people.
I hand back the paperwork. Identify myself again to you as Agent Janos Silvestrian, Steward Customs Agency.
Yes, of course. Good to meet you, sir.
And there you go.
Your
So
alternate identities, like hyper British.
you guys currently have probably another hour or so in the jump to get to your destination. At least that's what you know that.
It's pretty awkward.
I do apologize for the confusion. I'm sure the captain has already been made aware. He'd be more than happy to drop you off at the next drop point. That's we get to.
Legal on this planet?
Let
What?
you
Is
get off the
slavery
ship
legal
at
on
the
this
next drop
planet?
point.
Yeah, so it's stealing property.
Technically-ish. But, well,
That's what I was doing, whatever.
there is some... There's very ambiguous things because Pact worlds in general, like, they don't like the slavery aspect, but this planet, it's sort of, like, accepted, if not legal.
They're not like slaves, they're only in deep debt and must be forced to work for particular
Pretty much.
people in order to pay that off.
Things like that, yeah,
Sort of
exactly.
an indentured servitude.
Yeah, one might describe it.
It's one of those where it's an open secret of it being there.
You see, the trip to the planet is very expensive.
But yeah,
and
as
thus-
human trafficking is illegal in the Pact world themselves.
Something
It's not.
I look for and train as a customs officer.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Can I ask him where we're going?
oh yeah, totally.
I think we were going.
Well, you don't know yet that you have had a mistake. In
I set I set the jump to the diaspora, so it hopefully should not be too far of a jump back to return.
Be right back, guys. Sorry. You guys keep have a conversation as characters between yourselves.
So hopefully just a short, maybe 2-hour jump to return trip. I don't think it should. I apologize for your time, and I can compensate you for the
Inconvenience.
for the inconvenience.
Of having been accidentally kidnapped.
I can't
It's not kidnapping.
compensate.
I demand to see your manifest.
Do I have a manifest?
Are you hauling any cargo?
No, not really.
You probably wouldn't. Unless, would you have a document stating that you don't have any cargo?
Probably.
Yeah, you'd
Oh,
probably
or some
have a
kind.
form that says like nothing to declare.
Yeah.
To declare.
It's like I don't typically like take things from other places.
What kind of an archaeologist are you?
Well, I mean, like
Not
one
taking
who
things from other
respects cultural traditions.
All right, I guess you don't work for the.
I
British
leave
Museum.
the artifacts with their native owners.
Yeah, you definitely don't work for the British Museum.
I say very well and continue my inspection of your ship with a fine-tooth comb
You can wander
due to the
around.
inconvenience.
Yeah, no, totally. You are disinclined.
And I note your various archaeological artifacts without proper paperwork.
I don't know.
All right.
No fight. Okay. Let's go.
Hey.
Like he's gone out to like keep inspecting the ship, I believe. So if you guys
Actually, telepathically.
oh yeah,
There you go,
go.
yeah.
He's going on. Where the fuck is he?
I don't know why are you talking so weird.
I don't like law enforcement.
Never
Why
been
not?
like that.
I
Law enforcement
overhear-
are our friends.
I overhear you speaking in Lashunton.
Wait,
No, they're
communicate
telepathically.
Telepathically.
Yeah, they are in Lashunton and telepathically. So yeah, they've got some interesting things.
Law enforcement from a sketchy world? That means sketchy law enforcement.
I don't know. I think he's probably just doing the best he can.
I don't trust him. Get rid of it. The next thoughts. Forget about it.
I mean, it's not my ship. He can stay if he wants to. He can leave his friends behind.
All right. So what are you guys wanting to do with by this during this few hours that you have?
Unscheduled travel adjustment.
I'm
Yeah.
decompressing from a mild panic attack.
Okay, so you're pretty much decompressing, staying out of the way.
Yeah. I'm working to try and perfect knowing there's law enforcement around, I'm trying to perfect any, like, look over my fake ID, like, try and find anything that could be wrong,
Alright.
and, like, work on it.
Right, you are inspecting.
I am inspecting and completing the massive amounts of paperwork I now have to complete since I know there's a human trafficking
It's very sad.
investigation.
Yeah.
Is it so much you would consider not being an officer?
What are the two of you doing?
I'm probably just gonna
Commanding the
meditate.
ship.
All right, you're gonna meditate, and you're gonna just keep staying the bridge and
Stare
just
into the starry abyss.
All right, cool. So go ahead and give me a
Retreat to my
check
computer mind.
for customs.
15
Plus
6, so
All right.
20.
Like,
Yeah, there
Good
you go.
rules.
You go through, you comb through the ship in those few hours that you have. Let me see.
I gotta roll for like, yes, still an item.
Stolen archaeological artifacts.
I don't know if like you can,
Undeclared archaeological artifacts.
are they validating?
Right. You notice a lot of like mostly either holographic scans and other kinds of like data on a lot of artifacts. You don't really notice anything that that is really out of the realm of like this is what normally like, you could find and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no real issues that you can find in terms of the things that are on board. There's a decent amount in there, and especially there's a lot of you see a few data pads in like one of the science bays about like just different archaeology and just studying all different kinds of things. A few samples and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Will, go ahead and give me a check for, I think, what is a skill most associated with? Go ahead and give me your profession. Yeah. Just get a check for your profession, Will.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Perfect. That's an 11 with my profession. That's a 19.
19. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, you're able to like just tidy up even more a little bit your documentation. So yeah, you seem to be like, based on what you're looking at, like pretty watertight. And then after about an hour or so, you all go pretty much. You notice that it's time to slow down.
Hyperspace.
Exit pretty much the jump space. Yeah.
Okay.
And as you do, everyone feels a little bit of a jolt. I think everyone was notified of this. The ship usually has a computer that says like prepare to exit or hold on, assholes. And as you look about outside, where you were expecting a lot of asteroids,
They're not asteroids.
you are currently in wide open space.
Just nothing.
Just nothing.
Oh,
There's
shit.
there's no planet to be seen. There's no asteroids to be seen. Nothing that you can see currently out of the ship.
Fuck.
I'm immediately suspicious and
You're still you don't know exactly.
okay. I'm not looking at a viewport.
Yeah.
Got it.
You're not currently. You're finishing up your paperwork
Okay.
right now.
Got it. Got it.
But if you want, you guys can head towards the.
I begin walking towards the.
I approach.
I'm gonna like open the intercom thing. And I'm gonna be like, guys, I made a mistake during the jump.
I approach with absolute sincerity and I say, "What happened? What went wrong?"
I don't know. We're not where I thought we were.
Oh. That sucks.
We're nowhere apparently. I don't know if there's like space farms or what. They're they're just making more
We're in
space.
space, Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. All they do is like rows and rows of space all around us.
I mean, he would believe it. Yeah. So, what are you doing to figure out where you are?
Do I have like is there like a space GPS?
You can check your Navi computer.
I check my Navi computer.
Right. You check
no.
your what?
Nothing. Continue.
Are you like afraid of them?
No, I'm afraid of where we are.
You check
There
your
are
Navi
like
computer.
so many places.
And it is pretty much. It seems that you didn't get all the way to the diaspora. You're a little bit further out, probably a little bit closer to the what is that? What's the name of that planet with the blue one? That one.
Triaxis.
Yeah. So no, you're not by it, but you're around the orbit. So you're still in this area, but you're like somewhere around here, around the orbit of Triaxis.
This is shitty.
I was worried that we were going to have done like a 180 and be outside the packed system. Be like, yep, you're in unknown space.
Yeah,
Good luck.
You're in unknown space. But you do notice that there seems to be a little bit of a your nav computer, and when you're looking at it, does seem to be picking up some kind of a large object in the area.
Ooh, what's that?
What?
I point it. I assume that there's like a.
There's a
it's
little
it's
radar
basically like
kind of thing,
a. Yeah, I point at what is presumably like a blinking light that's like, hey, there's a thing. I'm like, oh, what's that?
It's like bad news.
Is it though?
Any people are bad news.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. The last couple of days would kind of agree with you.
So by this point, the two of you have managed to make your way up to the bridge. And you notice that there's a distinct lack of asteroids.
I demand that.
Now it's on the intercom.
I demand.
Oh yeah, you
No,
did,
we're
you
not
did,
there.
yeah.
I demand that you immediately plot a course to either Apostae or the Diaspora.
I agree. I don't want to be here.
And you
Diaspora
also-
sounds good.
I just want to get to the sun, man.
We're gonna
Diaspora is closer to
figure
the
it
sun.
out.
Diaspora's closer to the sun. All right, there
Diaspora.
we go. I vote that.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Are we gonna be able to jump before the ship hits us?
Oh yeah, no. This is not. It's not like moving towards you.
Oh, it's just there.
It's just it's floating.
It's a magic archaeological
It's a
space.
go ahead and give me a.
We're just like, nah.
Let's see. What have we got for skills?
Pilot.
If you want us to
This
use the
isn't-
sensors, it's a computer use.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a computer use check.
Skill. Actually, no, it's not. Archaeology is my best skill. 19.
19.
Respectable.
So as you look at the computer, just to like see what this mass is, it comes back like you change like the resolution a little bit, see like different frequencies, and you hear from actually like it seems a signal is coming from the ship,
Oh no.
and it does seem to be a ship of some sort.
Giant, like, flesh mass.
No. It is definitely inorganic.
Okay.
But you, there's a signal. Do you want to tap into it with your comms?
Sure.
All right. SOS. Help, please. We are. And then, like, it seems to go like that on repeat. A recorded message kind of thing. And it does
We gotta
seem
help
pretty
them.
disrupted.
Yeah, that's a shame.
They could be
for
in
them.
trouble. No, that's not a shame for them. We're here. We got totally spun off course, and we ended up here in a position to help these people. And we should do that.
I'll determine my opinion with my robotic random number generator. You can also have an opinion. We'll do a democratic vote.
You
I-
can also have it.
I say we are duty bound as mariners to at least make an attempt, but I also state that we should send a signal to one of the known worlds to request assistance due to the large size of a ship compared to the small size of our ship.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, cool. So you go ahead and you want to signal to pretty much send out a signal about there being a ship in distress over here.
Yes.
You're able to do that pretty much without much issue.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little while to move through space, but at the same time, it'll get there. And there is you send it out to the closest areas. The diaspora, not really, but you try one of the other planets that's close by. And signal sent. Now, what do you guys want to do?
I urge you to take further sensor readings.
I take further sensor reading.
You're in general, like I'll keep your previous roll since it was pretty high. In general, like when you're looking through the sensors and looking through all the data about
We're gonna go in and help these people.
um,
Do I recognize this kind of ship it is?
you're actually very surprised that you do.
What is it?
Because this kind of ship was last manufactured about 100 years ago.
Oh.
So it is quite old.
This is of archaeological interest.
Nice.
I
Please,
use my
I-
ace pilot
I mean,
thing where I know
yeah.
all the stuff about.
So you use
every
a
ship.
culture check and you get a +4 to it.
It's
in
older than
addition
I
to
am,
whatever
but like
your,
people would still be
your
alive
culture
to
check.
know this ship. Are you sure you don't want to make it older?
Base 4.
All right.
4.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say
Cultures, 10, 14.
Like 500.
These ships were most prominent during around the time of the Gap, which is over 3 centuries ago, and that is the earliest pretty much recorded history.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's it.
I have a 14.
14. All right. You know a lot about ships. You know like pretty much every make and model of like the ship because you've seen them all go through. You've been to many of the ones out even in orbit, and you have no real clue as to what this ship is. Like, this is a strange one. It has a lot of design elements that are similar to certain ships. But based on the codes that you see, based on like the readings that you're getting, the reactor type, everything like that you can see based on the ship, it is not a ship that has been built within the last few decades at most. And this is not a ship that you've seen ever in commission. You may have heard of like these types of ships in the past, but you don't know exactly. You really can't tell very much about it, which is very surprising to you because you pretty much know everything about ships in the last century.
I make note of the ship in my datapad.
Yep. Yeah, you can even ask your captain to see if you can download that to your datapad if you would like.
Yeah,
I asked the captain for permission to touch his computer.
That's fine.
All right. You are able to download the plans to the ship specs pretty much to the datapad so that you have it saved somewhere.
How old are androids as a race?
What? How old?
Are they before the Gad War?
Oh,
I actually don't know.
I think that they were.
I think they were because androids are a playable race in the Iron Gods Pathfinder scenario. So I think they did technically exist, although they were fairly rudimentary.
Yep.
There could be androids in trouble on the ship.
Could be.
We could be in trouble if we were on the ship.
You know what? We were previously in trouble when we were not on the ship. So everything
And
is
we're
trouble.
no longer in trouble.
It's automated robotic.
Ship
waste
is
of
see
time
that,
and
but
agony.
we ended up in a place that we didn't want to end up.
Um.
It's a weird world, man.
So what are you guys doing?
We'll save the people.
All right. So
I'll comfort the intercom system.
All right. So you are able to pretty much go connect to the intercom, and it just seems like it has the same message going on repeat. What are you saying? So they are you trying to send them a message at all, or?
I'm just gonna repeat. I'll be like, help has arrived or something.
Okay. All right. It seems to send. They seem to receive it. Yeah. So, are you guys going to approach it at all, or because it's still a little bit of a distance away?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We're gonna slow boat.
I'll run right into this plot.
There we go. So.
No. We played it safe. We escaped back to
See, that's the thing. You gotta buy into the adventure. You gotta be willing to explore that ship, that damn.
You begin to approach the ship, and you keep taking readings as you do. It does seem that there is some of the main functions of the ship, of life support and things like that, are surprisingly still online.
Maybe it's like a colony ship.
Does it look like any class of a ship, a warship, a cargo ship? Cargo ship with loot on it that could be taken?
Go ahead.
Oh, now you're interested.
Go ahead and give me a culture check.
Okay. That would be a 19.
19. All right. As you're looking at it, you can't really tell right now. It doesn't seem armed to the teeth, so it doesn't seem like a war frigate or anything like that. But beyond that, as you approach, you can't really tell what the purpose of the ship was at the moment.
Now that the thought of the cargo ship has entered my mind, I'm more okay with going aboard.
Of course you are.
There you go.
So is there... Well, okay, so I guess my character wouldn't know this, but is there some sort of docking operation that we would take, and there's an offload ramp, or a...
So...
where do I need to stand to be ready to enter the ship?
Yeah, you guys have a pretty much a passageway kind of thing where you can go into the ship through it.
Okay.
It's sort of. It's similar to the entrance ramp, but it's more. You can actually connect to another ship.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna head that way.
All right. So yeah, you are able to get there pretty easily. And as you do, you're able to like set up and everything. Especially since there seems to be an atmosphere, so you don't really need any spacesuits or anything like that. Right. Are you currently? You have armor of some sort. Do you have second skin?
Do have armor. I have Kasatha microcord.
Okay. Are you currently wearing it?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I'm wearing it at all times.
Yep.
The other ship.
Underneath my travel
There
my travel clothes.
Can anyone see this on that? Or
No, there's no camera pointed at the table.
Yeah.
This is strictly for our benefit.
Okay, that's fine.
In future ones, I probably will. I might actually print out a larger version of this and have it so that we can have some cool visuals.
It's cool.
Because visuals are fun.
This is the cargo ship that we have chosen as our representation.
Yeah.
It's got a big old belly.
Ooh, there we go. And you guys, as you get closer and closer, you notice that this really is, you've got some pretty old technology on this, like things that you're used to seeing on the ships, whether it be signaling, whether it be other kinds of just markings, things like that. They're no longer in existence. They either no longer in existence or never have been. And you in particular notice this, that this would not be a ship that would fly in customs currently. It would fail every
Familiar
inspection.
markings.
Yeah, none of the familiar things, none of the things that you would normally expect. And so you approach, and the closer you get, the more you realize that this is quite a large ship. And you do manage to find a docking port to be able to connect to the ship itself. Do you initiate docking procedure?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and give me a quick engineering check, because this is a little bit more difficult than your normal docking procedure. What do we get?
It's not a 1.
It's not one.
It's a 12.
12. All right. You, for the most part, you're able to get and position yourself in the right place.
I scratch my ship.
It's a little bit you dinged and dented as you try to reach out the little bit of a tunnel to connect to the other ship. It seems to be holding.
What color do you paint it? Indigo.
It's what you'd expect.
So it does seem to be connected. And you, my friend, have just seen the ship's hull almost expand a little bit to connect to where you see the opening for the other ship.
Okay. And is there any sort of indicator light that's airtight seal is good?
Yes, there is. There seems to be one. It blinks a little bit at first, but then it just it goes green.
Okay. Well then I will go ahead and open the door.
All right. You go ahead and open the door. No problem at all. At least with your side. So you now have to you go up to the other door, which is the airlock kind of thing, where you have the other door on the other side, and begin to try to work it. Go ahead and give me a strength check.
No problem. 23, natural 20.
You have very little
the
of a
door
problem.
off of its hinges.
You are able to it's clearly been a long time since it's been used, but you put your back into it and just wrench it open. The gears protest wildly, something that most of you can hear, the screeching of the gears even throughout most of the ship. as the airlock slowly releases, and you push the door inward, and as you do, a puff of this like stale air just hits you.
Oh God! Oh, whew, way back to some tears. Okay, all right. Forging ahead. We got this.
So currently, you are the only one over there. What are the rest of you guys?
I urge everyone to take environmental gear with them due to the old nature of the
Musty
ship.
ass nature
And
of the ship.
yes, and the fact that it's old and we don't know what's going on. Not to have it on necessarily, or have it on as immediately as you exit, and then if the air's okay to take it off and still have it with you. I also draw my pistol.
Look at my fucking bag of clothing. No environmental gear.
Environmental gear with me. I might have extras.
Okay.
You
I don't know
extra
if
on
I-
your ship.
I don't know, maybe.
The ship,
Standard.
I mean, it has some standard gear in there, like the something that some of you can use. Not enough for all of you to outfit, but like,
I have my own.
yeah, okay, you have your own. Cool, good. So yeah,
Probably maybe lend out my environmental gear. I don't know.
okay.
I'm not
Yeah,
very
you
interested.
okay. I'll say this: you have two pretty much like of the mask covers of like environmental gear.
Neither of them have it. I'll give it
Mhm.
to them, I guess. I don't have environmental gear.
Okay.
I need to breathe.
I'm not
What?
waiting. Like I'm already.
Okay.
He's just gone. So
I give
the
one
two of
to
you.
you. I'll take the other.
All right.
Greg can tank it.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So-
I've got good fortitude save.
All right.
Minus
So
one for
so as you're urging everyone to do this, he's just going in. He's just like walking through the portal and like just like la di da di da.
I follow behind everyone.
All right. So are you guys all going into the ship?
Yes.
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 Cool.
Behind them.
So marching order currently is you're up first.
That's me.
What else? Who else? Who's after him?
I'll go second.
Second,
Gun drawn.
Third.
And
Fourth.
you're last.
All right.
Bring
Cool.
up the rear.
Alrighty then. Now that you have entered the ship, you begin walking down the corridor, and it is a lot more very different than what you normally are used to. Nowadays, ships for the most part have very smooth lines. They're very refined, and like the design has become very. It is utilitarian, but at the same time, it is very, nice. They've managed to get past the utility and also like make it aesthetically pleasing. This ship seems to be from the time when this is the utilitarian design. There are no like rounded entrances or anything like that. No, it is a square hole that like you can walk through. That is like you got metal on the ground, like no comforts, no nothing. Just like this is a ship that is meant to last in space, pretty much.
Okay.
And the lights flicker, but seem to at least stay on for the most part as you continue on. Why don't you all give me perception checks, please?
20. I have no.
That's
Yes,
a 2.
Then it'd be plus.
And no modifier.
Nice.
Nat 20.
Probably 2.
26.
No, 21.
So you have 2 nat 20s,
Yeah, I got an 11.
and you got 11. All right.
And a 2.
So you begin to, as you're going, you the two of you who are most familiar, I think, with spaceships in general.
Point of order: the little boat of energy that I have sheds light in a 20-foot radius.
Good to know. All right, perfect.
Dim light. So
Dim
not like full-on brightness, but I shed dim light in a 20-foot radius around myself.
Mm-hmm. All right. So as you
I believe the comm pads also, or the personal comms also have a flashlight.
I think they have a flashlight function. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll turn that on.
I have a flashlight with me.
All right.
I also
Yep.
use.
Makes sense. So, the two of you are like right now looking, and you notice that this is like the docking bay area. of the ship. And the ship seems to be in very good condition. You don't see any kind of structural problems or anything like that. And based on just like where you are right now, and your knowledge of the ship, you can for the most part tell which way the bridge is. And you know that for the most part communications come from the bridge, especially in a ship of this size. Like this is going to be a pretty extensive bridge. So you guys, and as you're walking, actually, not too far away, you start seeing doors, like, you know, portal seal on both sides. So what do you guys want to do?
Just as a standing thing while we're looking, I'm looking for anything tiny and valuable looking.
Okay. Yep.
Gold is what you're saying.
Rings, jewelry.
Actually, I don't know if gold is all that valuable anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, do any of the doors have labels? Like, are any of them labeled like bunks or like recreation quarters, like anything like that?
Give me first a perception check on that.
9.
Nice. All right, and then give me a culture check.
Culture. 10.
Right.
No. Yeah. 10.
They seem to be labeled.
Okay.
But you do not understand. Does not seem to be a recognizable word to you.
Okay. Makes sense.
The language on it.
Yeah.
Do I recognize it?
Go ahead and all of you who are looking at these labels, go ahead and give me a culture check.
If you put the crew hold. 15.
All right.
Like a 7.
20.
All right. You, my friend, notice that the labels themselves seem to have something in common with. Actually, Harrison, what was your role?
It was like a 12. I can.
Give me.
I was
Do
gonna
it
do
with
this
archaeology.
next.
Do it
What?
with well, use the same role but add your archaeology.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Would
18.
holy shit!
you have a plus
Plus
12
12?
archaeology?
Oh, sorry, I don't have plus 12. I have 12 in it.
Oh.
If we're gonna add the total, I guess that would be plus 12 to that skill.
Holy
shit!
I have class bonus, ability modifiers,
Oh damn! Holy shit!
miscellaneous modifiers.
Plus archaeologist.
So the two of you, again, notice that these labels are things that you've both seen before. Things from before the gap. Things that were jumbled and have no current meaning and are unable to be deciphered.
I'm going to cast comprehend language on myself.
So before
Does
you,
that work
before
on,
you do
on
that,
written language?
I will say this. You know that in this world, anything that was done before from before the gap is completely incomprehensible by any kind of means, either magical or not. It's just showing you the age of the ship.
Okay.
So this seems to be a ship from before the gap.
We all comment, wow, this seems like a ship from before the gap.
Yeah.
Wow. So interesting.
Yeah. Meaning it's old as fuck, like 3 to 4 centuries old. And so now, where are you guys planning on going? Or
There are doors in front of us.
there's like it's a hallway that you're in, and you've got doors to the right and left as well as just being able to go forward a bit more. Seems that this hallway does end in a little while, but there seems to be hallways that go right and left.
Can I like hack the door?
Can we like get schematics for the ship from a computer?
Alright, so let's do one at a time. You would like to, what are you trying to do by hacking the door? Open it or?
Opening works.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check. Just to see what door.
No skill in perception.
Who's highest in computer?
I'm at 8. I don't know what I also.
I have 6.
I have 0.
6.
Is that added to computers?
No, this is just going to be a plus.
This is just perception. It's literally just time.
Okay.
Or I guess like plus wisdom. It's 11. Okay.
So you look at the door itself and like notice that there isn't like this doesn't seem to be opened by console. It just seems to be physically like.
Oh
open
really? Fuck.
door.
In that case, I don't know what to do. It's a physical door.
Yeah, just the door.
And not like electronically open.
No, not that you can tell anyway.
Can I like open it with a hand? There's no handles.
Well, no, there are. They're like it's just a door.
Oh.
You can physically like you can try to open it.
Try to physically open it.
All right. Go ahead and give me a strength check real quick.
You break your arm. That is 5. Just 5.
I can help.
So you try to open the door, but it seems a little bit stuck.
Okay.
I volunteer my services.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Great character.
21.
Yeah, you go up.
Hell
Absolutely,
yes.
Android tries and just yank it open.
Hell yes, you was strong guy.
And
I know where I'm useful.
and as you do, you pretty much you open the door to what seems to be a crew quarters area, almost like a barracks type thing.
Okay. Are there any people like huddled here?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you don't see anyone in this area.
Are there any bodies?
Hmm?
Are there any bodies?
No.
Okay.
There aren't any right now.
It's reassuring. Okay. So no one here. Should we keep looking for survivors?
I say we head to the bridge.
Okay.
That sounds like an
That sounds
idea.
okay.
All right.
Check
It's
it.
totally like scrapped clean. There's no weaponry or anything in the crew quarters.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Can I roll?
Not great. Perception.
And you pretty much
That's
know
that's a 6.
basic way to get to the
I was
bridge.
gonna roll xenoarchaeology to see what
Alright.
species.
Sure. Yeah, you don't see anything of value.
It's like a 20 something.
This ship, you can't
Maybe
really.
it's from the crew quarters like size or something.
Yeah, you're looking at the crew quarters and you notice that I mean like it seems to be made for humanoid shaped beings.
The entire.
But beyond that, you don't really get much of an indication just yet what kind of ship this is for.
Okay.
This may have been, this could have been many different types. It seems to be a species that would be a little bit more utilitarian. Possibly something from humans or something like that, but you're not, you can't really tell that well. And did you want to do anything with checking for computers or anything like that?
Yeah.
Alright, give me a perception for that.
11 perception.
Hmm.
6 17.
Okay. You see, not by every door, but like there it seems to be one data console in the wall, closer to actually right where you entered. Almost, it seems like that's where they would calculate any kind of like docking sequences and that kind of
Can
stuff.
I ask him to get since he's best?
Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah. Computing.
21.
21. All right, so you get up to the console and you start trying to boot it up, trying to do some kind of get it to start working. So you're surprised it actually does boot up. And as it does, it brings up like most of the information is same kind of like ancient wording jumble kind of thing. But interspersed with all that, you see a few like words, things like "help us" or like what happened, and other just like interspersed just words, things like that throughout the the ship, pretty much, or throughout the log. You are able also to get to bring up the schematics, and as you look around the ship itself, you notice that you guys are in the pretty much like lower level a little bit, around the docking area, and the ship itself has 3 levels, and it has a bridge up on the top level, quite a bit of crew quarters. Also, it does seem to have a science lab area, as well as some kind of sealed room that you're not sure what it has in it. And just in general, like, it seems to be a transport ship of some sort. You're not 100% sure exactly what kind, but it is some kind of transport ship.
All right.
Transporting what? Alright, so we
all
from
download the schematics.
From the schematics, it sounded like the most interesting places were possibly that sealed room.
Yes.
And then also you said we did find the location of the bridge?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do think your idea was a good one. The bridge seems like, I don't know much about spaceships, but I'm told that's where a lot of the important stuff happens. I do like bridges. Should we head that way?
I think that's if you guys want to go ahead that way, go ahead. We can do that. All right. So you guys start heading through the main corridors of the ship itself, and going through multiple different rooms and things, and just seeing like, some of the doors are half open. You're able to like peek in and see all empty, at least in terms of people. You see like some the remnants of centuries old like cloth and other things like that was covering beds and things.
It looks orderly or disorderly?
It looks decently orderly. As far as you can tell, it's hard to like get that from the remnants of all of these like things, pretty much, because it is, a lot of it has pretty much gone to dry dust at this point after this long. So but it's still there. It still seems to be in some of it seems to be like in pretty orderly condition. It's not like there was too much. There's a bit of mess, and depending on where you're going. But as you continue on towards the bridge, you notice that one door that is left like mostly ajar to one of the crew quarters, it seems, or at least someone's sleeping quarters. This does seem a little bit more like just rushed and like disorderly. But you notice that as you get closer to the
schematics to see what room it is.
Sure. You take a look at the schematics, and it seems to be a. It seems to be just a someone's room. Like this is a room from probably
like the captain's quarters.
No, it doesn't seem to be like a crew member themselves. It seems to be one of the passengers.
Okay.
At least as far as you can tell from the schematics, and you can see like where the captain's area is, because it's likely connected to the bridge based on your knowledge of starships.
Okay.
But as you continue on, you notice that more and more of the rooms seem to be a little bit more untidy, a little bit more rushed, a little bit more abandoned in that way. You're able to make your way all the way up to the bridge, and once you enter the bridge, you see that the comm computer is still blinking. And there's chairs in front of all these, all like the pretty utilitarian, like big chairs for people to sit in, with like just full backs and everything like that. And yeah, so that's as you enter the bridge. That's pretty much what you see. You see most of this is all archaic technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is stuff that you can barely even find in your archaeology books sometimes. This is archaic. So what would you all like to do?
I say we check the ship's log.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna look around for physical signs of people's presence. Any sign that they like pass through here. Any sign that they like gather here. Any sign that anyone is still alive.
All right.
Anywhere.
Okay. So what? So you were entering your first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you immediately just go start looking for stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a computers guy. I'm
Yeah.
not a spaceship guy, so I'm just going to be looking for like people.
Mm-hmm. So, as I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
And you begin to look around and find, just seeing if there's any kind of sign of life of any sort. And I mean, you see the usual things that you might see on a spaceship bridge, but you arrive around the comm computer, and yeah, just to take a look, you go ahead and turn around the chair, and as you do, there seems to be a figure still sitting there.
Oh shit! Hey man, we found your ship. We heard your signal.
Okay. Do you touch him or do you?
So it's like he's sitting in the chair, and the
So,
chair.
like,
is
yeah,
little-
this is pretty much you. Like you're approaching. You go to turn the chair around, and you see that there's at least like a hand there, and like you're about to turn it around.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna turn the chair.
All right.
It's a skeleton.
Well, it still has some skin left.
Great.
Like,
Yeah, I panic. Well, not panic. I'm like, oh god, I recoil.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
So yeah, he turned around the chair that seems to have a humanoid, the remnants of a humanoid sitting in it.
there's no way that every species skeleton is the exact
No.
same.
There's no way that's the same.
Can I?
Yeah.
He's around me.
Is there any sign of
How far is
trauma?
it?
You can see it. Like this is the bridge. That's not too.
I like go check it out. Everyone's into archaeology.
What the hell sound did you just make?
What?
That was a
Another
one.
natural one. You destroy the body.
man.
Well, do I want to add? Does my thing get added before or after?
I mean, after, but technically you still failed.
It's a natural one.
Yeah.
It's an automatic failure.
13.
Yep.
Unlucky too.
Are there any signs before he fucks up the body? Do I notice any signs of trauma, like any wounds, or like a gaping hole in the stomach that would indicate the presence of xenomorphs, perhaps?
Based on your cursory glance before your android friend comes over, you give me a quick perception check.
Sure. 5. No, that's nothing.
Yeah, you're a bit too taken aback at it, and as your friend comes over, he goes and like touches it and just like
I say, don't touch the body; it might disintegrate.
And then,
and
you
then
touch
you
it
touch the
and
body
it
and it disintegrates into pretty much dust.
Good job, buddy.
Oh no!
Proud of you.
So yes, where it is now mostly disintegrated.
I exclaim the irony.
The irony.
Amazing.
And, okay. So while all this is going on, 2 of you are also there. What are the 2 of you doing?
I was going to go to the ship's like nav computer, trying to
Okay.
download
Alright.
any nav data they have,
Okay.
where it jumped from, where it was
And
going
you're
to.
looking at the ship's
I
log as
see
well?
that he's going to the nav computer. I holster my gun, flashlight, and go to the ship's log.
Alright, cool. Both of you, please give me computing checks. Computer checks.
It's a 18.
That's a 20.
Alrighty. So you're both able to, like, just knowing your navigation of like computers and that kind of stuff, you are mostly able to get to what you want to know. You get pretty much the information that you get. So first, nav computer. There are certain coordinates that are planned in here, and like you see a few, like you see pretty much 2 sets of coordinates before everything gets jumbled. So it seems that to you that this ship may possibly have been in transit while when the gap happened.
Do I recognize like where the coordinates would point to?
Go ahead and give me another computing check.
That's a 10.
You can tell the general region of space where they are pointing. It seems one of them is close to Absalom Station. The other one is around where you would expect the diaspora to be. And then the ship's log. You got 20.
Yes.
So, as you scroll through it and there's like, you first do a quick skim, you notice that there are a few entries that are in a bit of an archaic form of common, but still common, before it gets fully jumbled.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much as you read through it, you get the sense that the last entry or the first entry that you're able to read, you have something along the lines of, we have arrived at where the planet was supposed to be, but now there's nothing. And why? How is this possible? Let us change course and return from whence we came, because this seems to be a oversight of some sort. Must be a miscalculation. And then as you keep going, like the next ship's log, many passengers have been reported missing, though we have not docked anywhere. They seem to be, I don't know if the reports are true. Yes, it is difficult to tell with a ship with this many passengers, but there seem to be a few at least missing. The next entry. Some of my crew members are disappearing at an alarming rate. What could be causing this? Next entry. There are 10 of us left. We don't know what's going on. Something happened. We're trying to figure out the engines have stalled, and though we can keep life support on, they seem to be unable to function. The last entry. All help signals have come back with all SOS signals have come back with no responses. I am the last one. And that's the last entry.
I yelled, "Oh shit!"
All right.
And download the data to my dad.
So the
Alright,
implication is just that the
computers.
people on the ship started to blink out of existence?
So it seems.
That's a little fucking weird.
300-year-old cold case.
I'm not, this just turns into some giant like murder mystery campaign. Wow, alright. So I guess we were too late. there's nothing we can do now but lay these poor souls to rest.
He didn't blink out of existence. I point at the one desiccated corpse that we have.
It's true.
Clearly,
That's a
he
good
had
point.
natural immunity. Okay.
Immunity to
Blinking out
being
of existence.
unmade. Yeah.
You cannot be unmade.
Yeah, that's extremely useful. Are there any? So the body's mostly destroyed. Are there
Yes.
any sort of anything that we can investigate? Any clothing samples left? Anything that would give us an indication of who this person was and what their deal was?
Could you give me a
Excuse me. Sorry.
well, whoever's trying to get any other kind of information, you can give me another xenobiology check if you want, and it'll be much more difficult now. But Greg, you can give me let's see. How about a
Is biology a separate skill or?
sorry. Go ahead and give me. You can do me an archaeology check, Harrison, and then Greg, you can give me a
Another one.
life sciences check.
Okay. Yeah, no. No. That's an 8. No, excuse me, it's just a 7. I have 0 intelligence.
All right. No intelligence.
That's above a 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a
27.
All right. So you're able to start looking at some of the fragments and just like sort of kind of tell like that it's based on your knowledge of like archaeology and ancient clothing and other things like that, that this was likely from one of the twin planets.
The twin planets?
Yes, the twin planets which have been destroyed and are now known as the diaspora.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So and by the way, the whole downloading things onto your data pads, you can only keep certain information. Like you can't just they don't interface very well with this, but you are able to get a lot of the information.
I'm just entering in the coordinates.
Yeah.
Have it so.
Yeah, you're able to like just you can just like take pictures of the screen or whatever to just get that for the most part. So, what else are you guys wanting to do?
I mean, at this point, there seems to be pretty clearly no one to rescue on the ship, which was my sort of idea. So I would just like to cremate what's left of this guy's body and then head out.
Okay.
I say that since it's no longer a rescue, it's now archaeology or salvage, that we leave, go somewhere else, tell someone else about it, and get on with our lives.
Okay. Harrison.
You don't want to like investigate archaeology anymore. I'm trying to find the
resident archaeologist.
The diaspora
To the museum.
lost ones. Another catastrophe.
So pretty much, as I understand it, the diaspora was created. There were two planets, twin planets, that were orbiting in the place where the current asteroid belt of the diaspora is.
So probably Sarcesian.
Yes.
There
was a race that lived there, and it was destroyed, I think, by a weapon that was from Eox.
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah. Anybody have any objections to just heading out? No, they're not a playable race. They're all dead.
This place could.
No, it's just like they're
still alive.
I got a bad feeling about this.
But they don't have a picture. They're not a playable race.
What are they called?
Sarcesians.
Hearing no objection, I am going to take this guy's body and I'm going to lay it out and I'm going to light it on fire.
Okay. No, you can't do that.
Why not?
It'll destroy the archaeological evidence.
You already destroyed the archaeological evidence.
Oh, I'll do it more. Okay, just thing.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So for anyone wondering,
Those
those are
wings.
Sarcisians.
Very good.
Are those
They
wings?
certainly look
Yep.
like wings.
They have wings.
Sort of.
This
Pretty intense.
this person
Well, they're energy wings.
this person has had a long and terrible journey and deserves to be laid to rest.
He can have a further journey by contributing to science.
As they debate, I'm looking for the bridge for any little trinkets or anything.
Okay.
Anything that might have stood the test of time.
Go
Your
ahead
I
and give me a
I could find a card where he agreed to donate his body.
I invite you to do so.
Let me
It's
go
a
grab
natural
one
18
from
and
my
plus
shed.
0.
Alright.
I wander into the
yeah,
captain's quarters
I'm
there,
just gonna
Jason's
do-
What are
bridge,
your
just to see if there's
fiery
anything there.
religious
Okay.
beliefs?
So
I mean,
you're looking through the bridge.
Yep.
Like, as you look,
cremation is
you
like the generally accepted.
you
form
pretty
of
much just
burial.
find some
Do not
not
cremate
all too
heathens.
much that is valuable
I don't know.
in terms of like physical
Say,
like
could be a heathen.
money. There's no credit
Right,
stakes,
yeah,
no
well,
nothing like
You
that.
shouldn't do
We
it.
have a very
Um,
pantheistic.
You see that there's like there are a few
You wanna
like kind of
roll
ancient
with-
trinkets
we
that you
could
could
both roll,
probably
like,
I'm
pass off
t-
or something.
well, here's the thing. I wanna take these
generally
ancient
avoid rolling
trinkets.
when it's between two players.
And
so
I
just
want
look
to
out yourself.
con them as
Oh, I know. You-
ancient
you-
treasures.
You find some things that look cool.
Okay, that's the important
Let's just
thing.
go. You have some.
I
ancient
find
trinkets.
always
some
roll
cool
between two players.
ancient
Really?
Sarcisian
Okay,
trinkets.
let's just do like evens. You win, odds I win. We'll see who wins the argument.
Cool
Okay.
Sarcisian, and I just
So I'm even. You're not.
So how's it go?
All right, I win.
Fuck. Okay, cremate the body.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get to I cremate the body
You
and
go
take it
into
out
the
in a
the
place.
captain's quarters, which is pretty much connected.
Watch
to
and
the
horror
bridge.
is my
Yeah, I also
archaeological
look for
evidence.
You
Anything
already
of
destroyed
any
it.
kind
Okay.
of interest.
Alrighty.
What am I rolling for?
This is
Go
all
ahead and roll
your
perception.
problem.
Okay. 11,
And
8,
I say,
plus 6, 17.
thank you
try
for
to be, like-
engaging him in
Alright.
such
I, like,
debate. You've
happily,
allowed me to.
like, I try to like
You-
take a
you
video
look
as fast as I
and,
can.
You're able
You've
to
allowed
just,
me
like,
to
first of all,
collect a
you
bunch
enter
of
the
ancient
captain's
trinkets
quarters.
that I'm sure would have
The
been
door is a
interesting.
little bit
But you're
stuck, but
distracted
you're
with
able
the
to
debating
get it
cremation
open
of
a
the
little bit
body.
more easily.
I
than
will.
some
I
of the other
will
doors that
say
have been,
I have no
you
trouble.
know,
I have no issue with you
stuck.
taking any sort of articles on the body. If you want to
And-
take,
Is there anything left?
if you want to take
in
the
here,
clothes or
um,
anything,
I take the clothes off this thing.
1 second. I'll get to you guys in a moment.
How many trinkets do we get out of character?
I just it
As
says
you open
it said you have
the
a number.
door,
I didn't say a number. Basically, I'm looking to pawn these off. This
and you roll.
You
roll
could-
18 for
you can
perception.
sell them
I
legitimately
think
through
so.
me.
Yep. Yeah. No, you did. Let me just double check something.
You should not have given me that idea.
business partnership just
How
happened.
much credits do you have?
Like,
Ancient artifacts of extreme nature, detailing the entire history
You
of
see
the
that
culture
there
as you
is
analyze it.
how about
first
we
off another
say,
body on the bed.
of
And
me just paying for them?
then
Out of my, like,
so that's the first thing.
Evidence of
Mhm.
the savings.
Do you do
We
anything
have
with
some
that? Or do
partnership
you,
where
like,
I'll,
otherwise,
like,
the room
analyze them and I'll be
seems,
like ancient
upon
Sarcisian, like
cursory glance,
trinket.
seems
and then we
pretty
sell them for
normal
a greater
bedroom kind
profit
of thing that you would
Then
expect
we
in
could
captain's
learn, and I'll
quarters.
put my name
You've
on
got
it
some
as the like
the
certified
bed area,
archaeologist
like
that we
a desk
found from
area,
ancient Sarcisian treasure
and
world.
also like an area that has like
I'll say,
seems to be
wait for them
food
to talk.
preparation.
Okay.
This is supposed to work games.
Check the desk.
All right.
And don't need to roll again. That,
No.
okay.
That's fine.
I check the desk and then I examine the body to see if there's identification or anything on it, but I do not touch it
Okay. Cool.
or move it.
I see.
Here's a different body.
Well, you guys are in the other
You don't
room
even
talking
know.
about
Yes, if I-
stuff. So, as you go up to the desk and you examine it,
Rifle
you
through.
try to like see if there are any papers or anything like that that can actually
Hey,
that
Adam.
the test of time.
Thanks for tuning in,
Wait, who's
Hey.
that?
Adam.
Adam,
Oh, Adam. Nice. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And so you look through all this, and there really doesn't seem to be very much. What you do notice is a few. There are a few seeming notes, like before you touch them and they like disintegrate. You're able to see things about the cargo. It's just pretty much like something you know is like the cargo and other things like that.
Starfinder. actually, which is a system
And-
in the same universe as Pathfinder.
And you're able to like just open a few other drawers, and you notice a key card with the numbers 79543.
7954.
Look behind the screen.
Key card.
There's a background on the
Okay.
screen.
And that's pretty much all you can find in the desk.
Can I take the key card?
Go ahead. Or actually, let me just see.
It's just card. I feel like I can.
Booby traps.
Archaeological evidence.
You are able to take the
I
key
don't see
card.
this happening.
Okay.
The strap to which it's on disintegrates pretty much.
The what?
It's on a little bit of a strap kind of
Oh,
thing,
okay.
and that
Got it.
disintegrates. But the key card seems to still be all right.
Okay.
All right, and then you go up to the other body, and go ahead and give me a culture check.
18.
18. All right. You look at the other body, and it seems to be humanoid as well. Does seem to be of the same race that they said the other one was in. You've seen they're still alive. They're still around. They're just very rare. This one seems to be. You can't really tell too much about it. Much of the clothing has sort of like either disintegrated or just been over time faded. So you don't really see any of the insignia. There does seem to be at least one metal bar on one of the shoulders.
Okay.
Of some sort.
Take a picture of my dad had.
Okay, you do have a picture of that. All right, so that's you, the captain's quarters for the most part, and they're all in the other room still.
Okay.
We worked out our thing. I won our argument, so I'm cremating the body. However, I have said that I have no objection to him taking any samples of clothing or any other physical objects that adorn the body.
Okay,
I'll
so if
write
there
a
are any
nice
of those
research
left,
paper
he can have them.
on ancient Circassian clothing.
Alright.
Do you still want to do that agreement where we were like, oh come on, more money for
I'm
you.
selling these.
They
What if
literally
they
are
turn out
worth
to be
more.
worthless?
They're worth more.
They're
if you know the context.
I
Belongs
don't
to the
know what
museum.
their idea is. While you were debating and all, you have no idea I even took them. I just have them on me. These are getting pawned off at the next underworldy place we.
I just don't know you have the valuable archaeological artifacts.
And yeah, that's a pretty impressive list. I mean, that's a lot of D&Ds and some Shadowrun. But yeah, this is actually a relatively new system.
Yeah.
Starfinder is. I think the source book was released
Last August.
So yeah, less than a year old.
Yep.
And we've all been really super excited to finally get it to table. Same D20 based system though, so a lot of it's very familiar and very comfortable to to most of us. So.
All right.
I touch the body looking for like a dog tag or any other identification, and I also grab the insignia on the shoulder.
Alright, cool. Go ahead and actually give me a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand.
See if it crumbles to those.
Yeah.
Oh, or fucking trying to sneak us off like skeletons out.
Is that 8? Sleight of hand 10.
Alright.
Dead.
So,
Grabs your arm.
you as you first you try to get the insignia, and like as you touch it, just like some of the shoulder pretty much just crumples into dust around it, and you do have like the metal seems to have held up pretty well, so you are able to get the bar. Doesn't have much on it. There's like 1 or 2 symbols on it
Okay.
that you can see. And then as you like try to rummage through, like see if there's any kind of dog tag or anything like that, you the like clothes in the body is crumpling like, around like wherever you're touching, but you are able to find a dog tag.
Nice.
On the dog tag itself, you find that the creature or the person was called Bayor Vera. So you now have the dog tag of Bayor Vera.
Can I use my computer to search all records of Bayor Vera?
You would have to use one of their computers to do that.
Okay.
Or wait, you mean like in history kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give me a computer check.
6. 12. Is that 6 or 9?
That's a 6. It's got the line at the bottom.
Okay, so 12.
All right. It doesn't seem that this is a name that's at all well known. You don't really get any information about it.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it anyway.
Okay.
You might be able to find something if you are able to go to the library, to a library or a archaeological museum, because like it is quite old.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I turn to the terminal in the room and also search Bayor Vera.
All right, another computer check, please.
7.
7. Is that a natural one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Your person's playing.
You as you're trying to like figure out the computer, and because these have never been really easy to get into, but this one like seems to be even harder than the others.
Okay.
After a few attempts, even though you can't understand the jumble of words that characters that are coming up, it seems like it's saying that you are locked out.
Okay.
So you are unable to even access it right now.
I leave the room.
Okay, cool. He's back in the room with you guys.
Can I
Hey,
ask
welcome back.
if you found any cool archaeological stuff while you were exploring?
I say, can you search Bayor Vera in the ship's computer?
We'll try that. And if not, we can ask the surviving people in like the Expanse, whatever it is. Oh, that works too. Fuck. That is a 9 though. 9 plus 12 is 21.
21. Alright. So you are you search the computer and you see that based on what you can see in the data, Bayor Vera seems to be the ship's captain.
Does it say anything else?
Hmm?
Does it say anything else?
Most of the logs, most of the information that is on there is just communications logs that between this and this and that kind of stuff.
Get the communication.
Yeah, sure.
I want them all.
You can like look through them.
Sure.
You see a lot of communications of like one-way, more distress calls than anything else.
20 pages of distress calls.
It just seems like that there was a lot of like calling of just like and these were like very regular. These were like every hour or so they were being done, and like there are a lot of logs.
Is there anything that's before the distress calls?
Before the distress calls, you see a few logs of unanswered ones in. It seems to be to the coordinates that you know of Absalom Station going around, but the destination seems to be jumbled. Like it doesn't give you an actual name of a destination. Seems to be jumbled, and before that, as you go a little bit earlier and earlier, everything just starts to get completely jumbled.
I can't find anything in particular about him other than the fact that he was the captain I think this is a good starting off point for maybe looking more into him. What's internet like in this universe?
So internet does like work and like it. You do have connection to. It's just when you're
Can I
in
like
deep,
Google him?
when you're in deep space,
Doesn't matter.
you won't get as much information. You pretty much when you're in this kind of deep space, you can only use whatever databases you have saved.
No, no.
Work offline.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I mean, like you have a decent amount of like information
Wi-Fi
saved, but
space. We are in space, Kansas.
pretty much.
I say, well, my,
So-
my
Broken
space
down
data plan.
18-wheeler off the interstate in Kansas. Crashed into a cornfield.
All right. So, what else are you guys doing?
I say we travel to a hospitable system
Yeah, I
to
was
let
going to-
everyone know I've
Let's
been
go
reported.
to the rest of
Get out of
the.
here.
Keep calling it the Expanse.
Diaspora.
The diaspora.
Diaspora or one of the other planets.
We'll go to the diaspora, and hopefully we can find out more about.
I have a question. Is diaspora like? Is it like?
Inhabited.
Yeah, is it inhabited? Is it like? It's not like. Is it like a lawless realm like Apostae? Or?
So,
It's
diaspora
sort of-
itself is an asteroid belt in which it's the remnants of two planets that have been
Right.
destroyed, and it's orbiting the sun. What you would know about the diaspora is that it has a lot of lawless factions, but there are certain asteroids that still have life that people that are actually large enough to even hold a very, very thin atmosphere. And the inhabitants there of this race that you see, I keep forgetting their names. What were they?
The Sarcissian.
Circassians.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
They're still descendants around, and they can pretty much fly through space like using they pretty much become go into stasis and then
Okay.
are able to like go between different planets and all that.
I urge us to go to Epsilon Station or Epsilon, not Epsilon.
You said this is diaspora is lawless, right?
Not all
There
of
are
it.
parts of it that are lawless. There are parts of it that are still inhabited by
What might
other-
I know about the criminal underworld with my outlaw back theme?
Go ahead and give me a check.
So the DC of culture checks related to criminal underground is reduced because of outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 15 plus 6, 21.
21.
Yeah,
Alright.
basically anything you want.
So
I know a guy there. His name is Jerry.
you know that in this area, like there are many different gangs and criminal like bounty hunters, raiders that just use different parts of the asteroid belt to like hide their operations. Like this is it's a place that cannot be well patrolled, so it is very maybe not fully lawless, but just a home to a lot of the more unsavory types in the galaxy.
Would it be home to a couple of stupid pawn shop owners?
I mean, you can
I'm gonna get 5 credits off this. I'm gonna be so happy.
you would be able to sell some things there, especially anything that you would like to pawn off. But at the same time, some of the things there are they're more interested. They're interested in certain types of things, not fully. It depends on what you're selling. They might be more interested in things that they know have value rather than things they feel will have value.
Would I be familiar with some of the like legends or places in the diaspora? Because if I was like, so there's a specific thing I'm reading about called like the Legend of the Wailing Stone.
All right, give me a
Can I roll a like?
yes, give me an archaeology check.
Okay.
or
I
archaeologist.
wouldn't want to deviate from our captain's desired course. I think the
That's
diaspora be a good area.
I think that this might.
Off.
Did I see the ship logs myself right now?
No, you did not.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. Then I don't know at all.
But you would know a lot of legends from this. So you're collecting a lot of this kind of stuff. You would know a lot of the legends. So you probably would know that.
Can I do a check, see on what I know about the diaspora?
Sure.
As a customs.
Probably
9. I know it
You know
exists.
that most of the time.
it exists.
No, what you know is that when people come from the diaspora, you really have to check their ships.
Okay. I haven't been stationed there yet.
You have not. I mean, like, because it is an asteroid belt, it's not like there's one place to go.
Yeah.
So, like, but you know that, like, if that's the direction that they're coming from, is that's where, like, their last logs were.
Yeah.
You need to make extra care to, like, actually check their cargo.
Okay.
So we could go to Absalom Station.
Yeah, I urge us to go to Absalom Station. That's like the capital?
That's basically like the capital of the solar system. Yeah.
Go there immediately.
Ooh, that means they're.
I mean,
aren't you law-abiding, Mr. Domaz?
I just
Okay.
thoughts to
We
myself.
all go to Absalom Station.
This
And
is
actually,
thinking out
first of
loud
all,
for the benefit of
sorry.
the audience.
yes.
Sorry.
So I guess I'll go back to the ship right now. If,
I mean, I think
we
we're all
all go
headed that
back to
way,
the ship. Yeah.
Okay, you guys are all going back.
yeah. And then I'll try to undock from this mysterious ship. I try to make note of the coordinates, I guess, if I
We
can.
make notes of coordinates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You're able to make notes of the coordinates and just about like the speed that's orbiting the sun.
I make notes of
that it isn't stationary orbiting as well.
Yeah.
Figurines.
But yeah, you're able to for the most part do that.
Yeah.
Question though, on your way out. So before you guys get onto, as you guys are getting on the ship, who's closing the door?
I mean, it'll probably, if it's still rusty and like has some resistance, it'll probably be me.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'm first back on the ship. On our ship.
yeah. So go ahead and give me a strength check.
Only 7.
All right. You start pulling the door, but it seems to have almost locked in its open position.
Sure.
What do you guys do?
If we disengage, will it like?
Yeah. Well, how much? There's clearly no one left alive on that other ship.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to our ship,
switch or something.
right? Yeah. If we go back to our ship and close our door and then detach the airlock, what'll happen?
Go ahead and give me a quick knowledge check on.
We'll
Give
space
me an
everything.
intelligence check.
Great.
17.
Yeah, that's good. You have a surprise understanding of
Yeah.
Yeah.
astrophysics.
So, if
I know about doors. Okay, that's what I got.
pretty much if you were to go onto your ship, disengage while this door was open, any of the remaining air that is on this ship would likely vacate. Right. So everything would just like come out.
This include like all the unsecured objects.
It's very likely that a lot of the stuff, especially because most of the stuff that you've seen like will almost crumple upon being touched, is all just going to go and into dust and be like, sucked out of the ship.
I'm like,
I
can
personally
we
don't
like
mind.
try again?
Can I use
Don't
my?
care.
Can I use like my like starship repair engineering or something to like fix the door?
Oh yeah.
Does anybody have
I
any
have an
WD-40?
I have an engineering kit.
Use your engineering.
Oh wait,
Okay.
I'm gonna use my magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I use
He would be more willing to help out than I would.
mending
Speak for yourself.
restore.
All right. Can you read me the specifics of that spell?
It'll be for
It'll be earlier than that. You see the table.
No,
already,
magic
yeah.
spells.
So spells should be a certain point. But yeah, while he's looking that up, everyone, just for our viewers, thank you all for joining us. And
Oh yeah.
we are currently in the middle of or the first session of our Starfinder campaign. So we have just started, and hopefully we'll be doing this every other Saturday. So if you are interested in this,
Mark the calendars.
mark the calendars. Just we would be glad to have you guys watching. Let us know what you think. And yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think we're all looking forward to it. We're gonna have at least I know these three guys over here are gonna be regulars. I know you're probably gonna try to come as
Be a recurring character at least.
There we go. And we'll probably have a few other visitors that come by depending on the week. So it's gonna be a fun time.
Okay, so it will take us. It takes me 10 minutes to cast this. You guys are gonna have to wait around.
That's fine.
And then I use it on the description. Spell repairs damaged objects and constructs, restoring 1d4 hit points. If the object is broken condition, this is removed and restored to at least half of its original hit points. If the object is restored to at least half. All the pieces of an object must be present for the spell to function. Hopefully it's not missing pieces. The construct can benefit from the spell once per day. Magic items can be repaired by this spell, but I assume the door's not magic. It does not reverse effects of the warp or otherwise transmute items, but can repair damage dealt.
Okay, cool. So you can go ahead and cast that, and go ahead and give me a how much it fixes it.
No, you're just probably going to cast that.
You need a D4?
Yeah, definitely.
That is a 4.
Nice.
Alright, max hit points.
4 damage.
So as you're there, and you're like just trying to get into the essence of this door and fixing it up. And yeah, like it seems like you notice as your consciousness goes into this, you notice that some of the hinges are off, or like the seal itself doesn't seem to be as tight as it was before, and you're able to change some of the composition and make it so it's a lot more easily usable. And then at the end after those 10 minutes, you go up and take the door.
Yeah.
You're able to close it and seal it pretty easily.
That's pretty good.
Good job,
There you go.
magic buddy.
Really good.
Well done. Well played.
There you go.
Alright, we are off to Absalom Station.
All right.
Do you want to pilot? You have technically better. I guess it's my ship, but
Yeah,
if
it's
you
your
want, you can. Okay, fine.
I'll co-pilot.
You can co-pilot. Anyway, I will roll piloting ability.
Yep.
If more than a 1.
Yeah.
He looks like he's crashing.
That's a 6. I mean, sorry, not a 6. That's 11.
11. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right.
Fails. I'm about to.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
he
Taking over
seems to
my
be a
own
little bit
business.
distracted, but at the same
I'm so
time,
excited because of the
you don't
archaeological
see that
find.
it doesn't seem like he's doing anything inherently wrong.
Didn't crash.
I don't
Yeah.
crash into the empty vastness of space.
Okay.
So you're setting a course for the Absalom station.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Roll again.
Can I verify the coordinates are correct?
Sure. You can verify if the coordinates correct.
Do I need to roll for that?
Yeah, go for it. Go
Okay.
go. Piloting check.
We'll both roll. That's enough. That's a 19.
But yeah, go ahead.
Dude,
You're pretty sure.
I got distracted as well.
You're pretty sure that the coordinates are correct, no matter what.
That looks right. That's a.
That's
a 9.
You wouldn't know if
There.
they were wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay,
It
so
looked right to me.
yeah, now you guys have a bit of time. You're going towards Absalom Station. This isn't going to take too long. You probably have about like an hour and a half to 2 hours in jump. But at the same time, you might have 1, maybe 2 other jumps left with the fuel that you have.
I'll probably refuel there.
I begin writing a report again.
Are there quarters aboard here?
There are.
Could you point us in the direction?
I'm like, I give them instructions.
Yeah. You're able to find the crew quarters pretty
It's
easily.
like a guest room.
Is there anything that you guys would like to take care of while in transit?
I'm just gonna say a benediction for the lost souls on board that vessel.
Okay.
Just something quick.
I'm very excited, although I'm probably
Makes
going to ask the delegation from the Circassians. I'm going to tell them about this because I don't want like other archaeologists to get credit.
I'm gonna just take out my little trinkets now. Look at them, try and figure out what they are, what they
Oh man, if
might be,
only,
what I
like,
might be
someone-
able to, what I might be able to sell them as, regardless of what they are.
Okay.
I begin writing my report, but I do not mention any of the items that I have on.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, maybe not so law-abiding after all.
Just as corrupt as I am.
Makes
We're
sense.
one and the
All right,
same,
cool.
Dr. Bashir.
Yeah. So, with all that, you guys are able
But I know
to...
the guy. Never mind. I know the guy's name.
Yes, you do know that.
What's
Bayor Vera.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna become the scribe of this campaign. The scribe of my other one. I'm not taking on dual responsibility. That's why I bought a computer to do that.
Dictation quillograph.
Alrighty. So you guys go ahead and you are approaching Absalom Station. You get out of jump a little bit earlier, and now you have the ability to go ahead and dock. First off, as you approach,
Wait, question.
yes.
Can I hail the like customs authority and let them know that I'm there and in Demize?
You wouldn't have access to a comm unit that is powerful enough to do that from space.
Aren't I the co-pilot?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you are. You're
Do I use my ship?
technically you're over there. So he pretty much what I'm saying is just that you wouldn't be able to do that without him knowing.
Okay.
If you
If you ask, like, sure.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I ask or I just do it.
Yeah.
I'll ask.
Okay.
Or I'll tell you I'm gonna do it.
And I'm like, sure.
yeah.
All right. Cool.
That's good.
So yeah. As you get onto the comms, you hear a voice. Absalom Station, Port 1. How may I help you?
So this is Special Agent Jano Silvestrion, Pact Customs Authority, and I identify him, identify the other people on the vessel, as well as our ship, and I say we need a full customs team to meet us as soon as we land.
Why full customs?
Or full armed police team to meet us as soon as we.
Are you going to arrest all of us?
No, I'm going to make sure we go safely to
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
to make our report.
Yes.
All of us.
He says pointedly.
Alright, what is the situation that you need a armed escort?
I refuse to say exactly over the radio.
Go ahead and give me a
Like call SWAT team.
Bluff check.
I regret letting you.
diplomacy check.
Maybe it's bluff. 13.
Terrible.
Okay. Mr. What's your name again?
Silvestrion.
Mr. Silvestrion, we need more information so we can dispatch the correct units. Please give us at least some information and indication as to what you need and why you need it.
I transmit my identification as a to verify my identity, and then I also say say we have I identify it as a possible human trafficking.
Me with
investigation.
them?
I identify important information about human trafficking information,
Okay.
as well as other important information, but no further than that.
Are suspects on board of human trafficking?
Negative suspects, but involved persons.
Involved
Or
persons.
beings.
Okay.
Victims.
What's it?
Potential victims.
Persons is sufficient.
Persons.
The,
Yeah, like persons. Let's do persons.
The ship you are currently on, we did not, we received reports that, this ship, the identification ship, that you are currently on has been, stolen. What is the status of that?
Report that
Say
the
it's
registered
recovered.
owner is on board and on the bridge with me.
Okay, we will have that noted. Seems to be an error in the system. Actually, give me a diplomacy check real quick.
Okay. 18.
Seems to be an error in the system. Please stand by, and if you could land on Bay 5 in Hangar 2, that would be appreciated.
I love errors in the system.
Errors in the system.
It's like seems to be
Clerical error.
clerical error.
We will have a
40 party.
we will have people there to escort you and members of the police force as when you arrive. All right. So that's the information you get. You're also hearing this, Harrison.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Because you're on the bridge and you're captaining
I'll have to
and piloting
figure
and all
out
that.
that situation. Call my space lawyer.
Lawyers in space.
That could be like a great sitcom where you just stuff like
I mean,
that.
that just reminds me of Mel Brooks's Jews in space.
You win space is cool.
Okay. So you guys can without much of an issue get into the hangar and the port and everything. And when you land and touch down, the hatch opens.
I'll be first on.
Yeah, and as you are greeted by 3 officers dressed like, as you would normally. So 2 of them seem to be police. 1 of them seems to be a customs official. And they say, Mr. Sebastian, is I believe that is you. They look down at their data pads, look up at you. It's like, how may we be of service? Seems that you said something about a human trafficking violation.
I say, we need to, me and everyone on this ship, 4 of us, we need to speak to the head of the planetary, the head of the planetary authority.
I don't know if they'd just let you go to the top guy.
About the information.
I feel like this is something like a low level
human
officer would do.
trafficking.
We've made. I say no. We have made we have made a very important discovery.
Oh, I was just gonna report it to the race of people. Like they have a diplomatic station here. I was gonna do that personally.
Okay, fine. We'll say. I say we need to speak to the head of
The
military or police or whatever they have there.
I'd rather let the race deal with it
say
themselves.
and then you interject with Celestians.
Can I speak with the Celestian delegation?
Sarcissian.
Sarcissian. Okay.
We're good at this.
Sylvestrian is his last name.
It's an entire race of people. It's just you, just clones of you.
I can do that on my personal time. You don't need to contact them yourself. It's fine.
Let's go ahead and
It's fine.
give me a
We're fine.
diplomacy check real quick.
Everything's fine.
Okay. With some giant fucking
How are you?
robots.
It's 9.
They don't do it.
They look at you a little bit skeptically, and finally one of them says, "Well, first things first. Okay, let's get everyone and go to the nearest
Everyone's arrested.
to the police station so that we can start this report and figure out what is going on. This seems like something that is a little bit above my pay grade." And they motion for all of you to come with them.
It's just like a low level thing.
No.
I'm cool with it. I communicate telepathically with Mr. What's his face over here, and just say like, "It's cool, man. Don't worry about it. We got nothing to hide."
Of course.
Extremely strange British laughter.
Okay. So you're escorted to the nearest precinct, pretty much.
Space arrested.
And while you're in there, first thing is that a few people are officers come in and say, we've contacted the proper people for
Human trafficking.
discovery, but for human trafficking, we need to know the information that has been about what has happened.
But of course, I pull out my dad pad with my report and say, full report. I was on the ship performing.
So wait, were you being human trafficked?
I need to arrest all these men for kidnapping of a
law enforcement official.
No, I give him a full report that I was on the ship performing customs check, and then just took off, interviewed the members of a crew on ship, and classical human trafficking violation, began investigation. Here's what I have. You need to talk to them for any more details.
All right, so
but then I insist that I speak to the discovery people when they arrive.
I mean, I was gonna do it because it's their thing. Can I do it?
Well, no, you can do it.
Yeah,
okay.
Insist too.
I mean, I insist I do it, but like I was going to like talk with them that like I made this discovery.
Okay. Well, first, first the officers all want to. These are the police officers. They're not really as interested in the discoveries yet.
I don't think they're interested as much. But I don't want.
What they want to know is they want to know everything about what happened with the human trafficking.
You guys get that. Oh.
So they start.
I'll say like we say our parts of the story.
Fucking telepathy. Yeah. You do the talking.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. Should I do the talking? I should do the talking.
I'm happy to do the talking, man.
Well, they go and actually they talk to each individual.
Yeah, that's about right.
Do we all have to like roll?
Like you're.
I mean, as long as we don't lie.
I just tell them what I did.
Yeah. Like
as long as we don't lie, he says to one with 10 plus 10 bluff and no law enforcement.
I'm
That's
going
not
to be
my
like,
problem.
yeah, I like rescued them from the thing.
All right. So.
Or I helped them escape the human trafficking situation.
Okay.
From the ship.
All right. They pretty much take notes of the whole situation. You describe it as it goes.
Oh.
Yeah, I basically just say, myself and the other Lashunta were on our way to a destination, supposedly to meet with some business partners of.
Say you wanted to go on a pilgrimage to the sun and they kidnapped you.
His associates.
Yeah.
And when we got there, it turns out that we were the goods in the transaction, not participants in that transaction.
Okay.
And then we were saved by this handsome robot.
Mm-hmm. He asks you for names and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. I say, I forget your name. Amos.
Yeah.
Amos and Connor was the one who betrayed us. Yeah, Connor, Conman was the one who betrayed us. And then I don't know the names of the people who were supposed to buy us.
Can I be observing through like 2-place guess and be like, wait a minute, he gave out his name as Luke Dumbass.
No. No, you unfortunately cannot.
Good.
That's
fine.
Good.
They have a copy of my report.
Yep, they have a copy of your report. You're sitting in the in the area outside waiting for the people to show up. They get to you.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, you see, the matter of the fact is I had newly entered into an exchange with what I thought to be a very reputable partner who was going to help me arrange the selling.
What is your name, sir?
Yes, of course. My name is Lucan Demize, but of course, my friend here.
Keep in mind, you don't know what I've told them.
Yeah, you don't know what he's told them at all.
Yes, of course. My name is Lucan Demize. Now, one of the other names I do go by is Amos. Having a general sense, though, of your intelligence.
Of my intelligence and my lack of guile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we were going to Apostae, which you may know is a rather lawless place. And so, in order to remain inconspicuous and not draw any attention to myself, I did go under the name of Amos for that period of time.
Could I have your papers, please?
Yes, of course.
Can
I...
Which papers do you hand over?
I hand over the Lucan papers.
All right.
Can I make a bluff check?
Yes, please do.
One.
6. But expertise means...
Roll twice, take the better?
No.
That's
It's a
advantage.
D6.
Oh, you added these.
So, well, that technically bumped that to a 14. So that's an 8. That's an 18.
18.
You got plus 10 bluff?
Yes.
Lord.
I did.
You better hope this guy doesn't have an awesome sense motive.
Just like you rolled a nat 20 on sense motive.
The officer looks at all your papers and just reads through them. And
While he's reading them, can I just try and sense motive? Like, is he seeing something's up?
Okay, go ahead.
With a D6 because of expertise. 12 plus sense motive. That's a 16.
All right. You start looking. You're looking intently at him, seeing like whether or not he's able to sense anything. You like, look at anything. Like, see a few times he furrows his eyes, but then looks at it and is like checking the computer. Seems all right. He turns back to you and says, "Okay, so what happened after this? We know why you were there. Now, can you please explain what happened?"
Yes, and so me and my associate and a friend of the party was going in, and the man was attempting to make an exchange, establish some dealings going on what for. And he all of a sudden turned about and offered us into slavery. We saw the discussion descending into that, and there is such a terrible fate. And fortunately, this wonderful bystander here came in and intervened and said, "Of course not. This is outrageous."
I approve.
Okay. And what kind of transaction was this supposed to be, or was this under the guise of
What?
that you were doing here? You keep saying business dealings.
Yes. So, I am a member of a family from Castroville. Not very famous, but a decent-sized middle-class family. And I, unfortunately, am one of the only surviving members of this family. And I was actually looking to get rid of some of the baggage from the family that was holding us back. Holding us down, just attend to family matters in that regard. And this man came to me on Castroville and offered me the ability to exchange these, get rid of the rest of this baggage, so we could finally be free of this, of the horrible fate that's befallen this family.
Go ahead and give me a bluff check.
I'm not even entirely sure
It's a
what that
3.
meant.
2, 5, 15.
Okay.
You better hope.
So he's writing everything down, like everything asks for some other details, like names of family members and that kind of.
Something's up?
Yeah.
You're sensing
Sense
motive.
motive.
Yeah. 5, 8 plus 4. That's another 12. Or that's a 12.
All right. No, it seems like standard procedure.
Okay.
Sound encouraging.
Standard procedure for what?
Yeah.
In the end, he starts asking a little bit more about the business associate.
Yes, I believe he gave his name at least. As a Connor Manafort? Manfeld? Manfeld, yes. And he seemed like a trustworthy fellow. I must confess I did not know him much prior to this occasion. I don't tend to deal with those kind of matters. I try and stay out of that, but he seemed like he knew what he was doing, and so I trusted him, and that betrayed me horribly.
Go ahead and give me one more block.
Not that die.
You need a different one. 14.
Oh.
24. You're good. He completely buys it.
That would be a 26.
All right.
Took a while to get going.
So, you are, he's pretty much just getting all the information that he seems to need for this report. And then after he's done with that, he goes ahead and says, "Okay, well, I believe that will be all we need of you right now.
Yes, thank you.
Why don't you go ahead and join your associates in the...
Yes, of course.
Am I initiated?
Yeah, depends. Do you want to be in the area that doesn't have the... that is not with them? I mean, you guys they're pretty much in the lobby area. So, I mean, you have a little bit more access to other parts of it, but it's up to you.
I'll be in the lobby at the vending machine.
Okay.
Immediately.
That's right. Getting lunch.
There you go.
That works.
Yeah.
So yeah, after a little while, it takes like about an hour or two or something like that to get that you guys are just sitting around really waiting.
It's the worst hour or two of my character's life.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're seeing like people like talk about like human trafficking and things like that, and just like all over, and like these crimes and things like that. And
I get a good explanation for this.
There's a wide poster of this person who looks alarmingly like...
It's not you, but it looks alarmingly like
Because I have a +10 in my disguise as well. It looks like someone completely else.
Yeah. And then, after a little while, a few people come in. They go up. Like it's been bustle, like they're to and from. And then you notice that three people come in. 2 humans and one android, actually.
For who?
Do we recognize them?
No, you guys don't recognize them, but they walk up.
Master criminal catchers.
they come up to the counter and go ahead and everyone give me a perception check.
14.
12.
13.
13, actually.
That's a D8.
That's a D12.
That's a D8.
You want to
Or a
reroll?
D12? Yeah, my bad.
That's the wrong die.
That's the wrong die. You should have taken the D12.
That's 8. Hey, I'm distracted. I'm at the vending machine.
Yeah, no. So it sounds like
okay.
14 is the best.
So yeah, you guys don't really hear much, but after they're done talking to one of the people at the front desk, you see some gesturing towards you guys, and then the 3 of them come up. Actually, specifically, it was pointing at you. So they go up towards you, and the human, the woman comes up to you and says, "Well, good evening, sir. I believe that you are Officer Silverstein or Silvestrian?
Silvestrian?
Celestian, yes, that's me.
Well, I hear that you have something to talk to us about.
Who are they?
Something about a discovery of some sort.
Wait, who are they?
You don't know yet. You just know that you're
Anyone watching this?
You're watching the 2 humans and 1 android that walked up.
I walk over.
to him.
I say, yes. I point.
Can I see the?
Those gentlemen need to be involved
PHP?
as well.
Thank you.
Of course. I see one of them's walking over. And she says, "Gentlemen, pointing to both of you.
Is this like the media?
What? She says first. Why don't you come over? No. This is we are the members of the Epsilon Archaeologists Guild.
Oh yeah, I would know
I
these
said-
people. I feel like I'm in their field.
You're in their field.
Would I like be familiar with the Archaeologist Guild? Maybe not.
Go ahead and give me the that's the biggest thing. Go ahead and give me a.
You've read papers by them, but you don't know what they look like.
You go to
Yeah,
conferences.
probably.
You see
I go to
them,
conferences.
You see them
Culture
at
check.
at conferences.
When I
Nice.
know these people.
So
I mean, I recognize them. We're not best friends.
yeah.
I asked for their identification.
So, as you you walk over and you start talking to them, and they mention that they're from the Archaeologist Guild.
I say, yes.
But what happens is, like, as soon as they mention that, you're just like,
Ah,
dawns on you. It's like, oh, that is the woman talking is Prescal. She is Dr. Prescal is one of the leading archaeologists on Absalom Station, and these two seem to be two of her associates. You may have seen them at some point in some lecture that you tuned into the holodeck for.
I'm gonna write a research paper.
You
We'll be
have
very well cited.
yeah. So, but you recognize her at least.
I feel comfortable telling these people about it. Yes, I am Dr. Indigo Stars, also in your field, xenoarchaeologist. I don't know if we've interacted before. But
Indigo Stars. One second.
roll for notoriety. Maybe I'm not well known. Who knows?
I believe I've read at least one of your papers at some point. You focus in.
I don't know what I focus on.
I think the one that I've read
Maybe.
was something about an ancient civilization. I forget which planet it's in, but it was. Either way, I have heard
Thank you
it.
very much. I've made a wonderful discovery pertaining to the Sarkeesian species before the rift. Is this before the rift?
Before the gap, yes.
Before the gap.
Wait, the Sarkeesians?
Yes.
Oh. And before the gap, and there's so little information about that normally. Let's see. This seems very, very. What is it?
A potential, a new research site of an abandoned Sarkeesian vessel, over 300 years old, in the outer reaches of the diaspora.
Oh, really?
People sharing the coordinates of these people.
Okay. That is fascinating.
I say, wait a minute. That data pad is needed for a police investigation.
With datapad.
Were you writing coordinates? Oh, I thought you put
It's
it
my
in.
personal one. It's
Yeah.
not like you don't need all my shit. Like,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I confiscate your data.
how, you don't have the restriction there. Right.
This you can see her getting visibly like excited. Oh, the Sarkeesians are one of the species that we know the least about their history. So much of it has been destroyed. And we scour the diaspora many times, but a full ship. And what condition is it in? Is it still has it been fully destroyed? Is it half destroyed? Did you find it wrecked, or what happened?
Is it red? Fairly well intact.
Fairly well intact. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. This is a very very interesting find. Let's see. We should immediately start getting just this. Oh yes, we have to get an expedition ready. This is one of the more fascinating finds, I believe, in recently, especially for the sarcasms. Okay. So,
We'll just see when the conversation goes on.
let's. You'll have to tell me more about this. Let's go back to our offices if possible. She looks around at you in particular, as well as the other officers.
I don't know if you want to do this, or you just want to go.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Beats being here.
Of course.
I tag along.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So
What's
the
that?
officer says,
Fair.
"Well, we have your contact information. We will be in touch if anything else is necessary."
Okay.
So
Some
you.
contact information.
I assume just like cell phone.
Ship number.
Well, you have the ship number as well as your comm
I'm getting another call.
frequencies.
How much are they?
Not
I'm
very
gonna
much.
want
Not
to.
much.
I need to get this thing called a burner com.
So you guys you're going through now finally the main part of Absalom Station. So the in general the part that you were in was just like the port area and the precinct by there. It's a pretty bustling one, but for the most part you didn't get to see much of Absalom Station. Now as you continue through, I don't believe any of you have actually been here before. So
I'm from Absalom.
Oh, you are? Oh,
Yes.
so you know this area.
I'm native. Yes. Homeworld.
So the rest of you guys don't really know very well this whole area. You know that they're pretty much taking you to one of the government buildings out in the center. It's where the guilds are located and other things like that. All the while, Dr. Prescal is talking with you about just the details of what you found and like how it all worked and all that kind of stuff. And you guys can listen in or chime in if you ever want, but it takes about 30 minutes or so just to get to the area. Is there anything you guys want to do while you're there?
On the way there, or like
Yeah, on the way there.
Nothing particular on the way there. After this, once we have a bit of free time, I have an idea.
Yeah, I'm just kind of along for the ride.
Okay, cool.
What do I know about the Absalom criminal underworld?
You can go ahead and give me a check on that.
That reduced good old DC. It's a 1723.
23. All right. As in every kind of world, there is a bit of an underground criminal
shops.
network, and yes, there especially if you're looking for pawn shops, there are a decent number of them here as well. So, yeah.
I'm getting paid by the hour, so I'm making overtime. I'm making double overtime at this point.
That's very good. All right. Yeah. So, you did actually once you arrived on the planet, you did get a message from the other planet saying
Superior.
Apostae.
Apostae.
Where are you? Like you were assigned to do to check on these ships.
You got kidnapped.
Well, you have not checked in. You have not checked out or anything, and none of your reports are on these ships have been received. Where are you?
I say I.
And this is like an email, pretty much.
Okay,
that you received.
Send an email.
Teleworking.
A lot of distraction. Human trafficking on a ship. Here's the report number. Make it very confused, but didn't say. You know what? It's a backwater. It's some white shirt in an office somewhere doesn't even know what I look like.
All right, you send that and take care of that later. All right, you guys have gotten to the area where or the office of the archaeologist guild.
Yeah.
And so as you arrive, you're just like you're talking, you're giving all the information, all the coordinates, and all that kind of stuff. Like you're transferring any kind of like anyone who wants to give pictures or anything like that, like schematics that any of you have. Like it's up to you if you want to give any of that stuff back to them.
I'll send them pictures, sure.
Okay.
I didn't have any of it.
I only give the picture of the body in the captain's quarters.
Okay. He gives the picture.
And the logs, I guess I just wanted to have that.
And the logs. I don't think you told them about the body, did you?
I was gonna say I didn't tell them about any of the stuff on it.
No, I meant these guys.
The one that we destroyed?
No, the other one.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah, I don't give them anything.
Yeah. All right.
Police business.
Yeah.
Official business.
All right. So yeah, you go ahead and any of the information that's given is given. And yeah, is there anything anyone wants to ask them? Is there anything anyone wants to do with this currently?
I ask them when they will be able to, what their plans are about expedition and their timelines or anything.
Do they want to go?
An expedition. We as soon as one can be prepared.
2 weeks.
I mean, it's going to take at least between. She starts calculating in her head. We've got to get the funding, get the approvals, get the
3 years.
It'll take a few months, probably at least, for an official expedition. That would take a bit of time.
I won't reveal the coordinates to anyone.
You've already revealed them. You've given the coordinates.
I mean, other than these people, like the
Oh yeah,
police
no,
captain.
that's fine. Yeah, no, you. I'm talking about these.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna like.
Yeah. You're only giving what you say you give.
Yeah.
And so, it'll take a bit of time.
Attract space smugglers and like have a den of crime. Like
Yeah, you wouldn't want space smugglers.
Yeah,
Space smugglers?
Space smugglers.
Space smugglers.
On a fucking ship, would you?
no, they'd be terrible on an archaeologist vessel.
Yeah, they would be.
It belonged to
Of course, we do have some funds available to us even more.
Do I have?
quickly.
I don't have any personal funds. It's very sad.
Yeah, I think you use most of yours, like keeping your ship.
I'll donate a
Working.
whole 7. I don't say this out loud.
Yeah.
Have a whole 17 credits to them.
So, well, Dr. Indigo Star,
Yes.
would you be, since you are one of the ones who discovered this,
Yes.
are you interested in possibly returning to
Yes, let's say.
this vessel and possibly investigating it further? I'm sure that
Of course.
there would be quite a lot of interesting pieces upon this vessel.
I'll tell her I'll use my own research funds.
Oh.
Actually, I would like additional help and effort. Further expeditions would be nice. I would not be against.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of scientist are you? You just turned down grant
research-
funding.
No, I want more grant funding. Okay, we want a big team. I want one prepared. I'll lead the research expedition, of course, and be what would I call it? The tip of the spear, so to
Conquistador?
speak.
Lead author.
Lead author of the papers. Maybe she can have a second to life.
Of course. I think that once we're able to get the funds together to perform a proper expedition, we would like to have you join in on that and possibly lead, depending on.
I should never have shared this.
But of course, that'll take some time.
Of course.
We really appreciate it. The information you have all given us, and pretty much like at this point, like
We're all done.
they actually do. She says to show my appreciation and she
You get like a fun plaque.
you guys get
I
no
perk
actually
up.
it's food. Like she goes ahead and brings you like brings in like a.
I want to be
pretty
named
good
like
dinner.
an honorary. Which archaeological society am I a member of? Like I assume like the one in my homeworld.
Yeah.
I want like to be named an honorary like fellow or something.
I was like,
So
No
food.
I want the title.
So what do you ask her?
Can I like be made like an honorary? Wait, can you be a member of more than one, or
Yeah, you can be a member of more than one organization.
I want to be a member of
As long as you
this
pay
too.
your dues.
I want.
Can we all be
Oh,
honorary?
I want to stay on dues membership for at least like over a year.
Well,
4,000.
I mean, you have
Can I get a discount?
You try
very
to
very interesting. Go ahead and give me the
300
points.
for registration.
Fuck, I'm gonna like roll a one. She'll be like, "No, fuck you." Like research is free. Like I have zero. I have -1 charisma.
You got this.
Don't roll a 1.
That's your third one. You need to
Die.
That is actually a 0.
That is actually a 0.
Alright, 1 minus 1
Does she refuse?
equals 0.
Okay, how bad is this refusal?
I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna give you a new die.
I want to die.
Yep, that was a 1. We definitely get a
Natural
camera
1.
straight down on there.
Oh yeah.
With a -1 modifier for
Yeah.
a modified roll of 0.
Oh boy.
Okay, so she's like looking at you a bit like
You insulted her mother.
Just get through it.
as you might know,
We're short on funding.
Thankfully, it was a non-combat roll. So.
this is
It's just as bad as a physical death.
no, it's the short answer. The way that that membership works in here is a bit different than the other guilds, and it's a combination
Based
of having
on
about
Invite
like
only.
7 different recommendation letters and other such things. And
Fine.
so
Personal
I
recommendation
appreciate
from
your
God.
interest, but no.
Okay. It's fine. I'll take that for now. I'll rejoin at a later date once my embarrassment has decided.
If I may. You are offering to go aboard this expedition, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, to lead this expedition.
Yeah.
If we are to be the events team, could we at least get some recompense from the guild in terms of just funding for fuel to and from the destination?
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
Also, it's 18.
1826 with my +8 diplomacy.
Right. She looks and says, well, if yes, you are if you are going to be one of the teams for the expedition, I believe that that some compensation is in order. And she says, well, if you let's see, for going to and from that area, that part of space, probably she calculates a certain amount, like just and says to to the archaeologist on the team. It says, okay, well, I believe it is your ship from what you were saying, correct?
Yes.
Okay. She gives you the amount of money that will cover
per mile travel.
the cost of fuel
it's a couple
to and
million.
from
Okay, that's fine.
So.
the area and this ship, and says, well, if you can actually, she pretty much gives you a list of things that she would appreciate you to like note of and that kind of stuff, like within the ship. Well, it's more actually like when you go there, like what information she wants to gather. Great. And
I'm going to bleed this guild dry, bit by bit.
That's not very nice of you.
anything else you all want to do here?
Here meaning
Not-
the guild.
Yes.
Can I like Google? Not at the guild.
Okay.
Yeah, no, guild now.
So after you finish eating, you all are free to go. You are in Absalom Station, and yeah, what would you all like to do?
I am going to go to a Church of Serenity.
All right, you're gonna go to a Church of Samurai. Others?
I would like to head off somewhere discreet.
To where?
Somewhere discreet.
Okay.
Change clothing
Mm-hmm.
and try and find a pawn shop.
I wanna
Change and disguise kit myself.
I'm gonna Google the name of the captain.
I make a mysterious comms call and then
Oh no.
head off to a shop.
Okay.
Market.
All right.
Market.
All right. First, Church of Saturday.
You.
So it's pretty easy to find the Church of Saturday. They're just about in every civilized planet in the city.
It's true.
And as you enter, this is quite a Church of Saturday. Like you're used to the one that you've gone to for most of your life. You've seen a few others, both when you've gone to the bigger cities, as well as you did actually manage to find one in Apostae.
Mm-hmm.
But this is grandiose. Like this is quite a Church of Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You've got just like cathedral. You've got like as you're walking through, every step that you take.
Did
is
you
a little
reveal
bit
the
more of
location?
these hymnals that you know
Don't you
all
dare.
very well. The light that is coming in through the
Come on.
ever-present
Don't do that.
it's the sun.
It's my
is
research.
just like it's being reflected about many times
You
between
say-
all these crystals that have been hung
Yeah.
around,
I could tell.
just to like
They prized
emphasize
that.
the brightness,
Okay,
and
thank you.
especially this one large glass crystal
Okay,
like on the altar which is
I don't
green
care.
and
I
just
don't
like
care.
scattering the sunlight
I'm not
around the
opposed to,
entire
Tell
cathedral.
them the coordinates.
That's fine.
I'll put it like that.
So,
Okay.
you're pretty awestruck at this,
It's out there.
and
Okay.
you go and you're doing your rites, your
I feel like it's
rituals,
right
and all
here,
that.
up there.
Is there anything that you want to do specifically?
Not really. I'm kind of just praying, communing with Darren Ray, saying sorry that I haven't made it to Dawn Shore yet.
It's
It's
so
been
sad.
quite an adventure.
Okay.
Nothing really that I'm looking to do or accomplish.
Okay.
I might actually I'm gonna go see if I can find if there's like an attending priest or something, and I'm gonna talk to him about my pilgrimage and see if he has any recommendations on like how to get there, because it's been quite a journey. Let me tell you. They have any recommendations?
You find an attending priest standing pretty much at the altar. Sees you doing all of your just prayers and all that. And when you approach, he says, "Welcome to the Church of Saturday."
No, thank you. Yes, this is quite impressive. Quite nothing quite like this on my in my home church on Castroville.
Oh, a member of the church from Castroville.
Yes.
Welcome. That is quite a journey to get to Absalom Station.
It is. By way of Castroville to Absalom by way of Apostae.
Well, that is a most unusual way.
And all I'm trying to do is get to Dawn Shore. So
Oh, don't show.
yes,
Pilgrim, are you?
yes, I'm what's like a low-ish rank, like a deacon, but not like whatever the Church of Saint Ray's version of that is. Like I'm a deacon, and I'm seeking to prove myself so that I may advance through the ranks of the clergy and someday become a figure of influence within the church.
Ah, well, lofty goals, that I will say. The current, you are going to a very interesting place. The church within the sun is one of the most holy sites, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a very, very interesting journey. Though no one can do it without some interesting detours sometimes. In general, getting there is not the most difficult, but it is also not the most easy. It's hard sometimes to be able to get pilots to go in that direction.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've discovered. Not being a person who's able to fly myself sort of leaves me at the whim of others who may not have the knowledge or the intentions.
What?
You seem to have had a few interesting encounters. Well, I sure do hope that your journey goes well. May you learn a lot in the cities inside the moon, inside the sun.
Thank you.
You should return once you have finished your pilgrimage. I would love to hear about it. The stories of the pilgrims are always so fascinating.
I would be more than happy to share them with you. Thank you for your benediction. And with that, I exit and say, "Blessing of the Ashbringer upon you."
Okay. Blessing of the Ashbringer be upon you as well.
Well, so this is actually a quirk of mine. That is not one of her
Oh.
epithets.
Okay.
That's something from my particular sect.
Oh, alright, got it.
She is normally called the Dawnflower.
The Ashbringer.
Well,
That's very
blessing of the Dawnflower upon you.
Right.
It's like a little bit skeptical, but you really don't notice.
I don't.
You just don't.
I'm on my way out the door.
Yep. Alright, you're gonna look something up.
Do I wanted to Google the guy?
Yeah, you wanted to Google it. So, give me a quick. So, are you going anywhere special in order to research this, or are you just doing this from your data pad connected to this universe's version of the internet?
I was just gonna Google it.
Okay, that's fine.
I thought of like doing it more in depth is for a later day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go ahead and give me a I guess a computing check.
I don't know what this is.
That dies offloads now.
A
not a
computing
one.
check. That's a 12.
So as you you look through, you're just like you're googling, you're searching for this for Bayor Vera, and it's hard to get much information about her. She seems to be like just about the only information that you can get is a name. There's very little on the internet that you can get, or at least not from her in general. You see like some other people named Bayor Vera that have like similar names, but they all are way too modern for it to be her. There is one record that you can see that has something to do with what are they, Solarians? No.
Sarcissians.
That's my entire class.
So with the Sarcissians, but it only gives reference that she existed at one point, like missing persons, like kind of thing. Just like one post, like somewhere, like of a scan of a document somewhere that had her name. So very little information online.
Okay.
Yeah. So you pretty much you can't really find too much
Gotcha.
That's it for now.
Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and go to you.
Find like a public restroom or something somewhere.
Yeah,
Change
you're
out.
able to find somewhere to
Play,
change.
disguise.
Go ahead and give me a. Is that a disguise skill?
There is a disguise skill, and I have a +10 in it.
Go ahead and
Do that.
use that skill to do that.
That's a 15 plus 10 is 25.
25. All right, cool. So you're able to disguise yourself pretty well. Now you want to go to a shop. of some
Yeah,
sort.
I'd like to find a pawn shop. I don't think I've ever been here, but
Yeah, but you know
No.
which areas to start going
Yeah.
to. Go ahead and give me a quick. Let's see. Yeah, I have investigation. Do that.
there's culture check of the criminal underworld.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and give me that.
It's not great.
I think diplomacy is usually used to gather information.
Is it?
Like if what you're trying to do is
Yeah.
ask a bunch of people on the street information about
Okay.
a thing, it's
That-
usually
That makes
diplomacy
sense.
made over the course of like an hour to gather information.
Okay, so yeah, that's what you're doing. Correct.
Then it's a 12 with a diplomacy check.
Fuck. Alright. You're able to get some information about a few shops that are that might be interested in what you have, or just to buy things that people have to sell. One of them, is called the King of Pawns, and that is the one that seemed to have come up the most. And yeah, you're able to find it pretty easily.
Okay. Wander on in. Head up to the counter.
As you wander in, you see. One sec, I just need
Get ready to bluff your ass off.
There you go.
this thing over there. Problem with not being very fluent with a system is you don't really know what the races are very well. Okay.
Which is the best.
Alright. There you go.
This is always done good for me.
Welcome. How may I help you? Little Yusoki.
Yep. No way. As soon as you started talking, I was like, "This is gonna be a Misaki."
Yeah. It pops up behind the counter.
Misaki are like rat people, by the way.
Yeah, little small rat person. This one,
Rocket raccoon.
like got a little bit
Yeah,
of
kind
like
of.
grayish fur around his face, and a little bit gnarled.
So, you're here to buy or to sell?
Oh, to sell, my friend. Sell.
Sell. All right. Let's see. Well, what have you got?
Well, let me show off the first round of what I have to demonstrate, and I'll pull out the trinkets that I've gathered.
All right.
Those are premium Circesian artifacts, ancient artifacts from before the Gap.
At some point, someone's gonna slip up and say Caesarian artifacts, and I'm just gonna be like, "Okay, that's Caesarian."
I can guarantee you they're authentic because I picked them off myself. No secondhand, they're straight from the source.
Interesting. So, you say that these are Circesian artifacts. What are they?
It's a very good question, and I leave it to your discerning eye, keen business sense, to
Is there a
give them off to another.
Is there a
individual.
flattery check?
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
He's like 8 credits.
Hoobly. That's 12 again.
Could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse.
It sounds to me like you have no idea what these are.
Tell you what, friend. Chip in a little something extra with this. Little premium information
No. I can't stop you.
Information, huh?
about this place.
Okay. Interesting. So,
Ask him what he wants. How much he's gonna give you for it.
Let's
He's gonna give me like 8 credits. You can reveal the name of our archaeological
I'm
site.
not revealing the name.
Okay.
Out of character, I'm not revealing.
What?
Okay, thank you.
What? Let's see.
He picks up one of them and just starts like looking at it and says, "What kind of information? You're saying that things about where this came from?"
Not so much where, but I can give you an insider's edge on the marketplace on such artifacts.
Insider's edge about a market. You're going to give me information about a market.
No, yes I am. Do you want an out of character explanation of what I'm hitting at?
No, they're going to give an in-character explanation. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
Yeah,
That's
another
that
one.
It's a 1.
Ah,
That's
so many
fantastic.
ones.
I find this very, very difficult to believe. I think that if anyone's giving information about any kind of markets, it would not be coming from someone who I do not believe has been very present on this world that I know of.
Now I'll admit, I'm a new face here. I'm not asking for anything crazy. I'm just asking simple 50 credits. You get these trinkets, you get a little bit of information.
50 credits, you say?
Lowball. Okay. Lowball yourself.
I mean, they're worth nothing, so 50 credits is a lot to
I
ask.
actually have no idea what they're worth.
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
Once they're like ancient weapons that are like 12d6 damage and you're selling them for 50 credits.
Why couldn't this happen last round? 27.
He picks them up and looks at them and says,
These definitely do not look like they've been made by any kind of recent manufacturing techniques.
He quickly takes out a one of those magnifying glasses and looks it over and says, "They seem to be a bit used, but for what? Interesting. He's like twisting some parts of it, turning others, and just like looking at one then the other, then they keep going and. In general, like he seems to be interested and says, well, I think I'd be interested in buying them off of you.
Can I get a sense motive?
Yeah.
Is he over eager for this deal?
Go ahead, give me a sense motive.
That's 10 plus 2 with my sense motive. 16.
You can't really get a read on him. He seems to have been in this business for too long.
Level 1, you gotta take what you can get.
How about, let's see, based on what I could sell them for, I'll tell you what, this is your first sale here. I'll make you a deal. 40 credits for the bunch, and the information that may or may not be useful.
40 credits for the bunch, I can certainly see. An extra 10 credits for the information.
Yeah, give me a diplomacy check.
I feel like it's probably like hundreds of credits in it.
That's a 16.
It's like on Pawn Stars where he's
I'll
like,
say, I don't feel the information that you'll have is that useful. I would say 40 credits for the lot, and I'll throw in 7 for the information.
Good deal, sir. Hand over the trinkets and...
Now,
What is this
What's your
information that you
information?
were talking about?
Information I gotta tell you is that I don't know where exactly it's going, but the guild has recently learned of an archaeological dig concerning Sarcesian artifacts. And they plan to be launching an expedition soon. So if I were you, I'd offload those artifacts, maybe anything else you have in the department, before they get a flood of new artifacts in, and the whole area hums alight with new, and the market is flooded.
Interesting. Well, you seem to be a little bit more useful than I expected.
Of course.
Hands over the 47 credits, and yeah.
All right, and your name?
Oh, my name. Well, I am known as Aelafon. Welcome.
I bet some corrupt
The shop was the
archaeologist.
King of Pawns, right?
Yes.
Pleasure doing business with you, Aelafon. I
Yeah.
hope our paths will cross again.
Yes, gladly.
Perhaps.
Alright. 57 credits.
47.
Well, 57 including the 10.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there you go. All right, and now it is you. You have said that you were making a discreet comm call.
Making several
Several
phone
discreet
calls.
Hello.
All right. And to whom were they? Those?
The first one is to my superior at Apostae.
Okay.
Apostae, informing them and getting permission for going on an indefinite undercover mission to investigate human trafficking in the Outer Rim. Or, not the Outer Rim.
Yeah.
Apostae and Oblivion.
He's like happens there all the time.
All right.
Well, we're working on it now. And my second call is to an old friend from a previous posting who's now a associate agent in the dockmaster of the Absalom Station port.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a diplomacy check for the first one.
Okay. 14 plus 2, 16.
All right. Pretty much though, what happens is that you're able to like talk them into letting you investigate, but you will have to be giving them reports pretty frequently, and they reserve the right to cancel that at any point.
I will follow standard procedure to the best of my ability. Is my response.
Okay. Yep. So you were able to get some leeway on that.
Okay.
And as he was hanging up, he's like, "Oh, and you know that these are half pay."
Damn. I still get per diem though.
And yeah, there you go. So you do have that.
Okay.
Now, the next thing, you are able to contact your friend, who works at the Dockmasters now, and what would you like from him? So you go ahead, and
hello.
Hey,
Janice.
James?
Janice.
Hey, Janice, what's up? I haven't heard from you in a while. I thought you were out in Apostae.
I am. I'm on undercover duty now, and I need you to impound a ship in your port right now. I can't. Can you handle that for me? I already have some documented customs violations we can work up.
My ship.
Yes.
Interesting. I think Well, if there's legitimate violations, I see no reason why not. Why we can't do that. Why don't you come down to the port office and we can get this sorted out.
Excellent.
Okay. So you go to the port office and you're greeted by your friend. Says, Stratus, well, good to see you. What are these violations that you're talking about?
What's the name of your ship?
I don't want to tell you. Do you remember it?
I have it on the manifest and everything.
Yeah, he does have it.
It's Karmic Rift.
Karmic Rift.
I like the name.
Okay. Well, now it's gonna be a Karmic Rift. Rift.
This is bad karma.
The ship. So I handle all the details on the
Should I
ship.
buy it back?
Hmm?
What is illegal about my
Well,
thing?
you'll see. That's what I'm trying. We'll see.
I inform him the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I also give him the identities of several associated persons
Yeah.
to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
So I give him. So the ships can't leave. Or,
Well,
okay, I tell him.
So
I ask him
he's asking you like what is the violation?
Okay. I give him the I tell him the minor violations I found, and then I spin them into becoming major violations. I say they also have potentially undeclared artifacts
They're not undeclared.
on board. How do you know? Did you declare them?
Yeah, probably. I'm not like a smuggler.
Potential.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
All right.
Very proud.
In return.
Yeah, I'm just like a lot. I didn't get it.
14 plus 18 or 16.
All right. So he looks down at everything and says, "Well, okay. Then why is it that you want this ship impounded?" And he beckons you into another room.
I tell him that they're coming in on I'm trying to work out another what's called alternative operation since I'm on half pay, and that I need them quiet about it just for a little bit.
What alternative offer?
I tell him
Mhm.
since I tell him and he. All right, so let's say he and I used to work together at one of the outlying stations, one of the stations known for having agents
less
susceptible to corruption,
Okay.
All right.
potentially, but also diligent.
Mm-hmm.
Diligent nonetheless.
Yes.
But if you bribe him, give him enough credit, say he's looked the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell him that they have stumbled upon a potentially valuable and untouched archaeological site.
Am I the only one who doesn't want to pillage this ship?
Yep.
Jesus.
Yes! Yes, you
I
are!
just want to get to the sun.
Yeah,
So much.
It would be nice
This is
if
gonna lead to PvP combat if this gets revealed to my character.
it would be nice if the boys from back in the day, referring to
That means I'm gonna get more fucking
the
treatments.
the group of agents that are on that planet who have stayed in contact and mildly in positions of power now could get a cut of it first.
Oh, he takes a look at some of them.
Fucking
And
lawful
I pull out. I just
Lawful
pull out
fucking
a couple.
okay.
I show him
Yeah.
the dog tag and the key card. I don't show him the gold.
Yeah.
Epaulet.
All right. So
I don't tell him where it is though.
Go ahead. Or so he looks at you and like a little bit of a smirk appears on his face. Says, "Ah, so that's how it's going to be, isn't it?"
I've legitimately had fights about this kind of stuff with people in real life.
He looks down at his paper and for the ship and
They should
says,
just destroy all
I think that there's a little bit of an ongoing investigation about... Checks off like a few boxes. And this ship is not supposed to be leaving port for a while.
It's a stolen ship.
Yeah, it seems it was recently reported stolen and then...
Human trafficking violations as well, I hear.
Yeah, I think that this ship is not going to be moving for a time at least. He smiles and says, and of course, make sure to cut in all of the boys.
Of course.
And we should get drinks sometime.
We should. Of course.
Now let me get this processed. And he opens the door and he leaves and gestures you out.
I know, really hope there's a fight between the corrupt officials and the smugglers that are now descending on this place.
That'll be pretty great.
Meanwhile, the academics are stuck.
Like, no, don't! This all belongs in the museum!
The ship is impounded due to violation of Federal Travel Regulation 1.6.7.
Alrighty. So, now that everyone's got... or is there anything else that you were planning on doing?
Might buy something, but I'll do that later.
Alright, cool. Now that everyone's done with their some of these activities, what else do you guys want to do right now? It's getting a bit, it's getting a bit close to the evening, that kind of stuff.
I wanted to go back to my ship and go to bed.
So I'm a very go with the flow type of person.
Yeah.
And so I'm basically just treating your ship as my house. I don't have any other, like, I could stay, basically I have two places I could stay without paying money. I could stay at the church, or I could stay on your ship. And since you literally rescued me from slavery,
That's okay.
I feel like that's probably what I will ask.
I didn't
I will
discuss
ask
leaving
first.
you both here.
I will approach and be like, "Hey, how did your meeting with all the people go?"
It was okay-ish.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right. So I've never been here, and I don't have a lot of money.
It's okay. I'll take you someplace.
Aw,
I'll figure it
thanks.
out. Okay. You
Means
can
a
be
lot.
my aide for now. Or
I can-
actually, better research assistant. Good title.
So I'm not very good at research, but I'm totally happy to
That's
help
fine.
out as long as we eventually go to Dawnshore.
Okay, sure. Actually, that works out.
The compact is
So-
official.
It's a compact.
All right,
We can-
I am officially in your employ.
Working for experience. You can spread the word among different species. Maybe. I guess I don't have an issue with that. My archaeologist knowledge.
I am.
You can. If I find a new
I
species,
don't
you
know
can
that
spread
you're
the word to them.
sketchy.
I am a bit of an evangelist.
No,
Yes.
Yes.
my papers passed your look without anything.
Excuse me.
You haven't acted suspicious.
No.
They're
I
gonna, like,
waited
impound
until
us
they
all.
were occupied with the argument and you were gone to loot the fucking artifact.
We're gonna like get impounded. It's gonna be fun.
You come back as a windshield wiper, it's just like 40 parking tickets.
One for everyone that found the ship though.
There's a crap, what do you call it, clamp on the stabilizer.
Yeah.
You get booted on your landing gear so you can't.
I deal with the parking tickets.
One moment.
Okay.
Is this a common law legal system?
Oh, kits, right.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
really know
making
what
sure.
their legal system would look like.
I hope it's common law.
Everything's customs.
Somehow I assume it's not, right? Like, I think they'd probably evolve past that.
I'm really hoping that the way that the different structures of the different planets work.
Okay. So we now have.
I was like, what are you doing?
What?
I didn't realize it was the microphone. I was
Oh.
like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah. Just getting the lav mic back on. Okay. Alrighty. So, currently, we have the two of you on the ship.
Yep.
Which you're able to access. Of course, as you get to the ship, you do notice that there is a transmission waiting for you.
Hello.
And that says that, well, your ship, until further notice, is not allowed to leave port.
Or what?
Or
Did I
what?
physically stop it?
How alarmed is Absalom compared to Apostae? Because we busted it out of there pretty fucking easy.
Well, he also wasn't impounded at that point. He wasn't making any kind of trouble.
Did they impound the ship, or is it like a pure port ticket?
It's more of a they weren't moving it, but like
You got booted.
they
I would say
You're
like
under a no-fly order.
you're under a no-fly order. Exactly. That's what it is. It is technically just an order, but at the same time, you are within the station.
I'm gonna hang around for a little bit and figure it out.
Okay. So yeah, you two are currently on the ship. William, where are you? What are you
I'm
doing?
heading back to the ship. The one thing
Okay.
is I picked up a toolkit, a professional's toolkit, which for me is a con man toolkit.
All right.
On the way. So I now have +4 to all con man checks.
All
I'm
right.
trying to specialize very hard.
Okay.
What are con man checks?
So like profession checks related to con art.
Oh, okay. Okay, a professional. Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's professional toolkit.
Yep.
I follow.
Okay, cool. And
So now my
you, sir?
conning is +12.
So I head back to a police station, present my orders allowing me to go on undercover duty,
20 credits.
and so I obtain
You're just gonna like join us for not doing anything?
I
We can't go
obtain
anywhere.
a legal fake ID, fake identification papers, since I'm undercover.
technically,
Standard procedure, and I also
Mhm.
I actually don't know if I'm allowed to do this.
Okay.
But can I like check out like a ship from the station for official business?
If you roll 20
That's
and the
official
DM is
business.
feeling merciful.
So,
I'm just wondering. So that'd be,
I mean,
Go for it.
I don't think that you'd be able. You might be
I
able
don't have to do that
to
today,
do
necessarily.
some kind of stuff with that.
Putting
I don't know
it
if you'd be able to get a ship itself, but you might be able to arrange transport, kind of,
Okay.
or at least funds for transport.
Okay. It's
Um,
fun stuff.
and so, yeah, you're at that point. So currently, we have
I
another
might
group.
buy something too. I'm trying to say.
Alright.
Come back.
I think honestly that is probably a good place to end this session.
It's pretty natural
So,
stopping
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, with that, I hope that everyone watching has enjoyed our first session of Starfinder.
Yeah.
We had,
I know we did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had quite a bit of fun.
I would have liked to have
My first
stacked more
RPG,
things
too.
with my energy storage.
Nice day.
Yeah.
Already pounding your shit.
And,
I was at first
Okay,
concerned I
control
wasn't going to
slide,
bluff
it's a-
enough. And then I had to make 3 straight checks.
Yeah, no, you definitely got to utilize your the full extent of your interpersonal skills.
Now +12 count.
But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. As Jacob mentioned at the top and in the middle, we're going to be doing this every other Saturday.
Mhm.
So if you enjoyed watching us play some Starfinder, tune in 2 weeks.
Yep.
We'll be playing again, and we'll hopefully see what the results of this impounding the ship are, what ends up happening
Yep.
with you securing transport. Will I ever make it to the sun?
Yeah.
Does William get arrested? We don't know, but
It's
we
gonna
hope
be
you'll
one of those
join us
side
to
quests
find
that
out.
I'll finish at the end of the main quest arc.
Exactly.
And for those of you who don't know, we this episode is going to be on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. And as well as all of our other live streams are available there. We are doing a few other cool things this week. We have our first Seafall board game campaign on Wednesday, so definitely join us for that. And then this Friday we are planning on doing Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Our
March campaign?
March,
March
yeah,
month?
we're getting to March. So that'll be a lot of fun. And also, we have a podcast, Dragon's Demise. So if you go to dragonsdemise.com, you can find us there. We're on Facebook. We're on iTunes. We're on all these other cool places. And yeah. So thank you all for joining us this week, and we will see you again, hopefully, pretty soon.
See ya.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Well, maybe bye as soon as I hit the button.